Chapter 308. Two men and one wolf were stunned. As soon as Elder Lu left, Xiao Hong began to clamor. It seemed that it was premeditated. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, "Let's go. We won't be polite to those who come up looking for abuse." Clang! On both sides of the corridor in front, stone doors kept opening. One by one, disciples in white walked out. Someone grabbed Qin Feiyang's arm and asked, "Brother, let me ask you, who is Qin Feiyang?" "I am." Qin Feiyang smiled. "You?" Those disciples were suddenly surprised. "Brother, are you going? Seeing that you are a new disciple, I kindly advise you not to go. That Xiao Hong is not to be trifled with. You should quickly go back to the alchemy room and hide." "That's right. As long as you don't come out of the alchemy room, he won't dare to do anything to you." The people in front rushed up to persuade him. "Thank you for your concern. If you are free, come and watch the show." Qin Feiyang smiled. Why doesn't this person listen to advice? Forget it. Let him be. Newborn calves are not afraid of tigers. They will regret it later. Let's go and see. The disciples from the first floor to the 9th floor had basically all come out and crowded in the corridor around the patio. There was a lot of discussion. At the same time, the 10th floor. In addition to the first alchemy room, the other 6 alchemy rooms also opened, and 6 young men and women walked out. "Xiao Hong, Dongcheng, you are really not kind," bullying the new disciple again. The 6 people came to the 2 of them. Their tone was a little contemptuous, but their faces were full of smiles. They seemed to be very happy to see the new disciple being bullied. Xiao Hong said, "Don't you know that idiot has a 10th level spiritual power?" "What? 10th level spiritual power?" The 6 of them were shocked. Xiao Hong shook his head and said, "It seems that your news is not up to date." The corner of Dong Cheng's mouth lifted, and he joked, "As long as he stays here, one of you will get out of the 10th floor sooner or later." The 6 people's eyes darkened, and a cold look climbed up their faces. Sanctum. Morongjing, a level 11 spiritual power user. Lu Ziyuan, Xiao Hong, and Dong Cheng were the 3 people with 10th grade spiritual power. However, there were a total of 10 people with level 9 spiritual power. These 6 people were one of them. However, for them to be able to occupy a seat on the 10th floor, they were undoubtedly the cream of the crop among the 10. However, as soon as Qin Feiyang arrived, one person was destined to leave the 10th floor. This was something no one wanted to happen. This was because the 10th floor represented not only the quality of the alchemy flame, but also a symbol of one's status. Those who could stand on the 10th floor were all top-notch alchemists in the pill hall. This was a supreme honor. Glory must not be infringed upon. As such, the 6 of them began to hate Qin Feiyang in their hearts. "It's him. He is Qin Feiyang. Level 10 spiritual power. He's so young. I'm afraid he's only 17 or 18. The people on the 9th floor suddenly became restless. The 6 people looked down and saw 2 people and 1 wolf walking out from a corridor and standing at the bottom of the patio. "It's them?" The 6 of them looked at Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng. Yes. The 2 of them nodded. They were like monarchs, looking down at Qin Feiyang with arrogant expressions. At the same time, Qin Feiyang also raised his head and looked over. The moment their gazes met, they collided and created invisible sparks. Dongcheng said, "Qin Feiyang, kneel on the ground immediately and tell everyone loudly that you're our little follower. Then, we'll let you go." Qin Feiyang lifted the corner of his mouth and said calmly, "What if I say no?" Dongcheng sneered, "If you dare to say no, you won't be able to move an inch in the future." Xiao Hong said, "That's right. As long as we say a word, all the disciples of the pill hall will become your enemy. A mouthful of saliva from each of them is enough to drown you." Qin Feiyang laughed and said, "You guys are really influential." Xiao Hong said disdainfully, "It's good that you know. Hurry up. Don't waste my time. You still think you're someone important." The 2 people and the wolf looked at each other. A trace of sarcasm crept up their eyes. Whoosh! At the same time, they jumped up and landed on the 10th floor with a few leaps. "You guys dare to come to the 10th floor without permission? Don't you know the rules of the pill hall? Get down." The 6 people shouted. Qin Feiyang was slightly stunned. He looked at Wolf King and asked, "What rules?" Wolf King said, "Challenge them. Only those who win are qualified to stand here." "I see." Qin Feiyang smiled. He looked at Xiao Hong and said, "Where's Lu Ziyuan? Are you qualified to ask him?" The two of them looked disdainful. "Do I need to be qualified?" Qin Feiyang touched his nose and looked at Xiao Hong. He smiled and said, "Then the two of you. Who wants to compete with me in alchemy?" As soon as he said that, it immediately caused a huge uproar. The entire Pill Fire Hall went crazy. "What? You want to challenge us?" Xiao Hong pointed at their noses and looked at Qin Feiyang in shock. Qin Feiyang asked, "Can I? Haha, compete with us in alchemy?" I'm dying of laughter. Qin Feiyang, oh Qin Feiyang, you're really an idiot. Why don't you take a piss and look at your reflection? How sad, how sad. Do you think you can make pills that surpass us just because you have level 10 mind power? Let me tell you, don't be too naive. We're all experienced alchemists. A newbie like you can't compare to us. The two of them laughed out loud, their expressions full of disdain. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly and said, "Is that so? Then let's play." "Okay, if you want to play, we'll play with you. But if you lose, you have to kneel down and kowtow to us in front of everyone. You have to call us Grandpa when you see us in the future." "Do you dare?" Xiao Hong sneered. Lu Hong asked, "What if you lose?" Xiao Hong looked at the people on the 9th floor below and said with a smile, "Tell them, will Dongcheng and I lose?" "No way." Everyone roared in unison, "Be arrogant. The more arrogant you are, the more embarrassed you will be later." Lu Hong muttered secretly. Xiao Hong looked at Qin Feiyang proudly and said, "If we lose, we will call you Grandpa in the future." Wolf King chuckled and said, "How boring. Let's add one more. The loser will crawl under my crotch." "That's fine. Senior brother Xiao Hong, senior brother Dongcheng, we support you." The people below roared. Originally, Xiao Hong and Dongcheng were still a little angry. But as soon as they heard the support from below, a bright smile immediately crawled up their faces. They nodded in agreement without hesitation. Xiao Hong looked down and said, "Someone go and invite the two deacon elders in, lest they lose and renege on their debt." "I'll go." A skinny disciple quickly ran out. Very soon, the two middle-aged men who were guarding outside the door strode into the room. Whoosh! Seeing that the commotion was so big, the two of them could not help but frown. They jumped and instantly landed on the 10th floor. "Have you thought it through?" The two of them looked at Qin Feiyang and asked. Qin Feiyang nodded. The two burly men looked at him deeply and nodded. "Okay, we will be witnesses." Xiao Hong said with a smile, "Qin Feiyang, let's refine the battle chi pill." Qin Feiyang said, "Sorry, I don't know how to refine the battle chi pill for the time being." There was a pill recipe in the pill scripture, but he had not read it carefully. "You don't know?" Xiao Hong was stunned and laughed. "You don't even know how to refine the battle chi pill. What do you have to compete with us?" Qin Feiyang said with a smile, "Let's refine the prolongation pill. I believe both of you should know how to do it." "Haha, the prolongation pill is of a higher level than the battle chi pill. Do you know how to refine it?" Dongcheng laughed. This person was so silly that he was cute. Qin Feiyang said with a faint smile, "You'll know once you try." Xiao Hong said, "Okay, I'll show you what a genius alchemy room is." Dongcheng said, "I have no objections." Since the three of you have no objections, hurry up and prepare a set of herbs. If one of you wastes the herbs, you lose. Do you have any objections? The two burly middle-aged men said, "No." Xiao Hong and Dongcheng shook their heads. "I do." Qin Feiyang said, "If I compete with the two of them, will both their alchemy rooms belong to me if I win?" One of the burly men said, "In theory, yes, but you're only one person. Why do you need two alchemy rooms? Wouldn't you be wasting one?" Qin Feiyang said, "Who said I'm only one person? Don't I have Lu Hong next to me? She's also an alchemist." Lu Hong said in a low voice, "I don't need it. Don't worry about it." Qin Feiyang glanced at her and said to Xiao Hong and Dongcheng, "Will you give up your alchemy rooms if I win?" "As long as you have the ability." The two of them sneered. Qin Feiyang said with a smile, "All right then, you guys can start." I'll take the opportunity to observe. Observe? Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng looked at each other and were even more certain that this person was just putting on an act. In fact, he did not know how to refine the life extension pill at all. Okay, I'll give you a chance. Xiao Hong flicked his sleeves and walked side by side with Dong Cheng into Alchemy Room 3. 2 men and a wolf. The 2 burly middle-aged men also walked in. This is a place for people. Seeing this luxurious alchemy room, the 2 men and the wolf could not help but have a trace of desire in their eyes. Take the opportunity to observe a little longer because soon you'll be scramming back to the first floor. Xiao Hong smiled disdainfully and said to Dong Cheng, I remember that you have a set of herbs on you. Dong Cheng said, Yes, I do. Xiao Hong said, Then you refine it first. I'll go to the resource hall to buy the herbs. I'll be back soon. All right. Dong Cheng nodded. Xiao Hong looked at Qin Feiyang and said contemptuously, Do you have any medicinal herbs? I'm afraid not. I reckon that you don't even know how many medicinal herbs there are for the prolonging life pill, right? Kid, if you fight with us, you will lose miserably. Haha. Xiao Hong laughed loudly and turned to leave. The 6 young men and women of the 9th level also walked into the alchemy room one after another, looking at Qin Feiyang with eyes full of hostility. Dong Cheng looked at the 2 burly middle-aged men and said, 2 elders, please keep an eye on me. Don't let some people disturb my alchemy. The 2 nodded. Next, Dong Cheng walked into the alchemy room, took out a set of medicinal herbs, and placed it on the stone table. Chapter 309. Qin Feiyang observed for a while. Although this person was very arrogant, his alchemy technique was indeed very good. There was no extra movement, nor the slightest pause. Every step was precisely in place. He also had the capital to be arrogant. His gaze moved to the pill furnace again. He didn't know if he didn't look, but when he saw it, he was shocked. The pill furnace was green all over, as if it was made of a peerless jade, and it was actually glowing with a hazy treasure light. It was actually a 3rd-grade pill furnace, because only 3rd-grade and above pill furnaces would emit treasure light. And the higher the grade of the pill furnace, the brighter the treasure light. Sure enough, he's worthy of being a disciple of a wealthy family, Qin Feiyang muttered. In terms of pill furnaces, Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng had the advantage. It was no wonder that the 2 of them were so confident. The entire alchemy room was silent. 100 breaths passed. The prolonging life pill was finally out. Dong Cheng grabbed the pill and lowered his head to look at it. There was a vague pill mark on the pill. Seeing the pill pattern, a bright smile crawled on his face. Wolf King leaned forward and said with a smile, Let me see. Dong Cheng spread out his hands and said proudly, If you want to see, then see. Wolf King exclaimed, Amazing! There is actually a pill pattern. This is the first time I have seen a top-grade pill. Dong Cheng was even more proud. He looked at Qin Feiyang and said with a smile, It's too late for you to regret now. Qin Feiyang shook his head and said, I didn't expect senior brother Dong Cheng to have such high attainments in alchemy. To be honest, I really regret it. Only now do you know regret? It's so silly that it's cute. The 6 young men and women with 9th-level spiritual force looked at Qin Feiyang with disdain and surrounded Dong Cheng one after another, flattering and fawning over him. Hey! Wolf King laughed sinisterly and returned to Qin Feiyang's side, sending a sound transmission. I said he's fat, he's really panting. Qin Feiyang smiled without saying a word. At this moment, Xiao Hong ran into the alchemy room panting. Wiping the sweat from his forehead, he looked at Dong Cheng and asked, Is the refining done? Dong Cheng nodded with a smile. Of course. Actually, there's no need for you to refine it. What do you mean? Xiao Hong was puzzled. Dong Cheng said, After seeing the life-prolonging pill I refined, Qin Feiyang has already begun to regret challenging us. Haha! Xiao Hong laughed heartily and turned to look at Qin Feiyang, saying playfully, If you knew this would happen, why did you do it in the first place? Just wait until you kneel down and call me Grandpa. Xiao Hong, Dong Cheng, congratulations on becoming grandfathers so early. But this grandson, whose son is he? The 6 young men and women laughed. Of course he's my son. Dong Cheng is just his god-grandfather. Xiao Hong laughed heartily. He walked into the alchemy room, took out a set of herbs, and began to refine pills. Qin Feiyang glanced at Xiao Hong, then turned to look at the 6 people with narrowed eyes. Seeing this, Lu Hong and Wolf King looked at each other with a trace of gloating in their eyes. They knew Qin Feiyang too well. Every time he showed such a look, it meant that he had the intention to kill. It could be imagined that these 6 people would definitely end up very miserably in the future. 100 breaths passed. The life-prolonging pill refined by Xiao Hong was finally out of the furnace, with a faint pill pattern on it. He showed great confidence. Grabbing the pill without even looking at it, he looked at Qin Feiyang and said, "It's your turn." Qin Feiyang smiled and walked to the side of the furnace, but did not immediately take out the herbs. He lowered his head and pondered. Xiao Hong said playfully, "Are there no herbs? Do you need me to give you one?" He didn't know that Qin Feiyang was actually thinking about how to lower the quality of the pill. That's right. It was to lower the quality. Because if he really refined a pill with 2 pill patterns, it would definitely cause a huge uproar in the spiritual state. At that time, there were definitely many people who wanted to curry favor with him, but there were definitely a lot of people who wanted to harm him. All in all, he couldn't be too high profile. Dongqing urged, "Hurry up, don't waste time. If you really can't, just admit defeat. Might as well use the nether devil flame." Qin Feiyang muttered and looked at Xiao Hong. "Please take your furnace away." Huh. Xiao Hong was slightly stunned and said strangely, "You have to know that this is a 3rd-grade furnace. You have picked up a big bargain. You should thank me." Qin Feiyang didn't waste any more time and directly picked up the furnace and placed it on the ground. Then, he waved his hand, and with a clang, the bronze furnace appeared. Xiao Hong and the others were stunned. Originally, they all thought that Qin Feiyang might have a furnace of a higher grade than a 3rd-grade furnace. But taking a closer look, it was only a 2nd-grade furnace. Didn't he know that the higher the grade of the furnace, the better the quality of the pills refined? Dongcheng whispered. He didn't use a 3rd-grade furnace and insisted on using a 2nd-grade furnace. If there's nothing wrong with his brain, then he definitely doesn't know how to refine pills. Xiao Hong sneered. Isn't that better? The 6 young men and women also pursed their lips with a hint of mockery. Even the 2 middle-aged men couldn't help but frown. Was this new disciple really that stupid? Or was he pretending to be stupid? The show is finally about to begin. Wolf King and Lu Hong both muttered in their hearts. Suddenly, Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and the nether devil flame appeared. Huh, he actually has his own alchemy fire. How is that possible? Seeing the nether devil flame, Xiao Hong and the others' hearts were suddenly set off by stormy waves. Alchemy fire was very rare. Even if it was only a 1st-grade alchemy fire, it couldn't be found outside. Because once an alchemy fire appeared in the spiritual state, it would be snatched away by the holy sanctum. Moreover, there had been no news of an alchemy fire appearing in the world for many years. But this new disciple actually controlled a type of alchemy fire? This was too shocking. Even the 2 middle-aged men were in disbelief. Not only did he have an alchemy furnace, but he also had his own alchemy fire. Was this kid really a newbie? They couldn't help but begin to doubt. Dong Cheng's expression was also a little flustered. Don't panic. So what if he has an alchemy fire? Only the Holy Sanctum has the recipe for the prolongation pill. He's a new disciple and hasn't even been to the resource hall. He definitely doesn't know how to refine it. Xiao Hong whispered. Dong Cheng said, but just now, he watched the entire process of us refining pills. Xiao Hong scolded in a low voice. Don't you have a brain? Have you seen anyone who can grasp the steps and methods of refining pills with just a few glances? That's true. Dong Cheng nodded, and his hanging heart finally relaxed. Without the alchemy recipe, everything was in vain. However, they would never have thought that Qin Feiyang had an alchemy scripture that recorded all kinds of alchemy recipes. Alchemy recipes were nothing to him at all. In the blink of an eye, Qin Feiyang took out the medicinal herbs one by one. His mental force emerged, rolled up a medicinal herb, put it into the bronze furnace, and began to refine the spirit body. No, his technique is so proficient. As soon as an expert made a move, one would know whether it was true or not. The people present, except for Wolf King and Lu Hong, were all experts in alchemy. As soon as they saw Qin Feiyang put the medicinal herbs into the furnace, they knew that not only did he know alchemy, but he was also an experienced alchemist. No, even if he knows alchemy, it's impossible for him to refine the prolongation pill. Xiao Hong clenched his hands and stared at the furnace. 1 stalk, 2 stalks, 3 stalks, 4 stalks, 5 stalks. One by one, the medicinal herbs were constantly thrown into the furnace and turned into spiritual liquid in less than 30 breaths. Thus, all of the spiritual liquid was extracted. Impossible. This must be a dream. He just came to the holy sanctum today. How could he know the method to refine the prolongation pill? Xiao Hong's eyes were red. The speed of refining the spiritual liquid was actually twice as fast as his and Dong Qing's. What did this mean? This meant that Qin Feiyang's alchemy methods were more sophisticated than theirs. The 6 young men and women, as well as the 2 middle-aged men, were also dumbfounded at this moment. There was no sloppiness in the whole process, and all the movements were done in one go. Such a skilled technique, even they were left in the dust. What should we do? We may lose. Dong Qing whispered. Don't worry, he's only using a second-grade furnace. Even if he can refine the prolongation pill, he definitely can't refine the supreme-grade prolongation pill. Xiao Hong gritted his teeth and said word by word. At this moment, the entire alchemy room fell into a dead silence. Everyone unconsciously lowered the sound of their breathing and heartbeat. 50 breaths had just passed. Inside the pill cauldron, rays of dazzling green light blossomed. Qin Feiyang waved his hand. Whoosh! A dark green pill flew out from the cauldron. He grabbed it in his palm and put away the nether devil flame and the bronze furnace. Xiao Hong and the others' eyes all fell on his hand, holding the elixir in an instant. Phew! Qin Feiyang let out a long breath, looked at Xiao Hong and Dong Qing, and said with a faint smile, Do you want to know something? What? The 2 of them were puzzled. Actually, in my eyes, you're just clowns. I said so much nonsense to you before, purely to tease you. Don't tell me you really think I'm a fool. The corners of Qin Feiyang's mouth lifted slightly, with a hint of mockery. Xiao Hong and Dong Qing's faces immediately darkened. It turned out that this bastard had been playing them like monkeys. To be honest, I really don't know where you find the courage to ask me to be your little follower. I don't know how you dare to say that you have more alchemy experience than me. I'm also very puzzled. What's there to show off about an almost invisible pill pattern? Shouldn't a supreme-grade elixir be like this? At the end of Qin Feiyang's words, he grinned and opened his clenched big hand, and the prolongation pill was suddenly exposed to everyone's eyes. In an instant, the air and time in this place seemed to have stopped. Except for Wolf King and Lu Hong, everyone's eyes were fixed on the elixir in Qin Feiyang's hand. The dazzling pill pattern was like a bolt of lightning, fiercely striking their minds. In their hearts, they were even more shocked. That's right. This was a real supreme-grade elixir. Only by refining such a pill pattern could one be qualified to be called a supreme-grade alchemist. Xiao Hong and Dong Qing looked at the prolongation pill. Their faces flushed red, and a deep sense of humiliation emerged in their hearts. Until now, they didn't know. What they had done before was so childish and ridiculous. It was simply a big joke. In front of this person, they were not even qualified to carry his shoes. Chapter 310. Hey. Aren't you guys awesome? Why aren't you talking now? Come on, keep being arrogant. Wolf King glanced at Xiao Hong and the others and shouted, his eyes full of disdain. Immediately, everyone shuddered and came back to their senses. They all looked at Qin Feiyang. The 6 young men and women with 9th-level mind power had a trace of fear and respect in their eyes. The 2 middle-aged men, on the other hand, were excited. They didn't expect another alchemy genius to come. As for Xiao Hong and Dong Qing, they stared at Qin Feiyang. Their fingers clenched and their faces flushed. His heart was filled with shame and indignation that could not be dispelled. How dare you tease us? You obviously know how to refine pills, but you pretended not to. You've gone too far. The 2 gritted their teeth, their faces twisted and their eyes spitting fire. Tease? Qin Feiyang shook his head and laughed. He put away the prolongation pill and said indifferently, I never said that I don't know how to refine pills. Xiao Hong roared. Then why did you pretend to be crazy when we came to find you? It was fun. I wanted to keep a low profile, but I didn't expect you to come to me as soon as I came to the pill fire hall. You even took me for a fool. Of course I had to tease you. Now you finally know who's the fool? Qin Feiyang laughed. You, Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng were furious. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and said, all right. Stop talking nonsense here. Pack up your things and get out of here. Xiao Hong shouted, you're the one who needs to get out. Qin Feiyang said with a smile, have you forgotten that this alchemy room already belongs to me? Hurry up and stop nagging. Cough, cough. Xiao Hong, Dong Cheng, accept your loss. The two middle-aged men laughed. There's nothing to pack. Xiao Hong glanced at the two burly men, took away the grade 3 alchemy furnace, and said to Qin Feiyang, you wait for me, Dong Cheng. Let's go. The two of them flicked their sleeves and walked outside. Wolf King said, wait, what else do you want? Let me tell you, don't go too far. The two of them glared at Wolf King viciously. Hee, I'm not bullying you. I'm just asking you to fulfill your promise. Wolf King laughed sinisterly. He stood up and strode out of the alchemy room. Seeing this, both of their faces instantly turned deathly pale. They already knew what Wolf King was going to do. Wolf King was standing in the corridor outside. He spread his legs and laughed. Hurry up and come in. The outcome has already been decided. Who won? Do you still need to think about it? It must be senior brothers Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng. When the people gathered on the opposite 9th floor saw Wolf King coming out, they couldn't help but wait. In the past, those genius disciples had used all kinds of methods to bully the new disciples, but this was the first time in history. However, they didn't know that the person who was going to crawl under was the genius disciple they had admired for a long time. Looking at Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng, their faces were ashen. They stood motionless in the alchemy room. Their feet seemed to be glued to the ground. They didn't dare to go out, because as long as they went out, they would become a big joke in the temple in the future. What are you waiting for? Hurry up, don't waste my time. What's more, crawling under my crotch is your blessing, understand? The Wolf King chuckled. Blessing? Qin Feiyang's face twitched. How could this be considered a blessing? It was clearly bad luck. Lu Hong couldn't help but cover her mouth and laugh. This guy really knew how to insult people. The 6 young men and women also had strange expressions on their faces. This was simply a shameless wolf. As for Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng, they were about to explode in anger. If looks could kill, Wolf King would have died countless times. Qin Feiyang, although Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng started the trouble first, this kind of behavior is a bit ridiculous. Why don't we just forget about it? Yes, after all, they are all famous people. It's too embarrassing to do this. Just get them to apologize and admit their mistakes. The two middle-aged men couldn't stand it anymore and looked at Qin Feiyang to persuade him. Embarrassing? Elders, there's something wrong with what you're saying. Don't tell me that they don't want to embarrass Qin Feiyang by asking him to kneel in public? Lu Hong frowned. This. The two middle-aged men looked at each other and were speechless for a moment. Qin Feiyang said indifferently, faces earned by oneself, not given by others. Xiao Hong, Dong Cheng, you have to crawl under it today. Do you know who we are? Do you know how big our background is? Aren't you afraid of death? Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng said gloomily. Don't talk to me about family background. I don't buy it. Let me tell you, even if God comes today, you have to crawl under it for me. Qin Feiyang sneered. Crawl, crawl. This is what you promised. Who can you blame? The two middle-aged men waved their hands impatiently. Hearing this, Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng's eyes suddenly turned red. Like two beasts, they stared at Qin Feiyang firmly. Qin Feiyang, I promise you will die a horrible death. Wait and see. The two of them said coldly and walked out of the alchemy room decisively. They lay on the ground and crawled toward Wolf King's crotch one after another. What? Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng lost? How is this possible? Oh my God, this is crazy. That Qin Feiyang is so capable? The people below instantly burst into an uproar. Their faces and eyes were full of disbelief. Crack! When these discussions fell into Xiao Hong's and Ye Tian's ears, they were like invisible slaps that continuously slapped them in the face. They clenched their hands tightly and their faces were distorted, which made them look extremely ferocious at this moment. Xiao Hong suddenly raised his head, stared at Wolf King, and roared hysterically, "Bastard! I will kill you sooner or later." "Damn, you scared me." Wolf King's body trembled and suddenly screamed. But the next moment, Wolf King spurted out a water column from a certain part of his body and shot directly into Xiao Hong's mouth. Seeing this sudden scene, Qin Feiyang and others next to him were all dumbfounded. This ruffian wolf actually peed at this time? The most important thing was that it sprayed into Xiao Hong's mouth and face. And the range was not ordinary. Dong Cheng, who followed behind Xiao Hong, was not spared and was drenched in urine. Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng were startled, before the flames of fury in their hearts erupted like a volcano. "I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm too timid. I accidentally peed because of you. You can't blame me. Why are you guys so loud? Don't you know that my little heart is very fragile?" Wolf King hurriedly explained in a panic, and his big pupils were full of grievances and innocence. "Or is it our fault?" Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng were stunned. Shameless. It was obviously premeditated. But now he pretended to be very hurt. It's really despicable. He's simply a shameless bastard. The 6 young men and women with 9th level spiritual force twitched their faces and couldn't help but curse in their hearts. This ruffian wolf must not be provoked. It was really too cheap. Whoever dared to provoke it was an idiot. "Bastard, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to tear you into pieces." Boom. Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng couldn't help but say word by word. Their momentum suddenly erupted. They climbed up from the ground and looked at Wolf King with a ferocious face. Their eyes were red as if soaked in blood. Their whole body was full of hostility. "Stop." 2 middle-aged men saw that the situation was not good and hurriedly came forward to reprimand them. One of them turned to look at Qin Feiyang and frowned. "This is really too much, isn't it?" Cough. Qin Feiyang looked at the complacent Wolf King, clenched his fist and put it to his mouth. He coughed and said helplessly, "Two elders, you really can't blame the white-eyed wolf." The 2 frowned. "Two elders, you don't know. Although the white-eyed wolf is big in size, he is very timid and can't be frightened. Xiao Hong is to blame for this situation. Who told him to be so fierce? Not to mention the white-eyed wolf, even I would be frightened." Qin Feiyang laughed. Who would believe that? The 2 middle-aged men, the 6 young men and women, and the people below all muttered in their hearts. He had only heard that wolves were cruel and cunning by nature. It was the first time they heard that wolves were timid and couldn't be frightened. Looking for an excuse, shouldn't he find a more reasonable one? Fine, fine, you just don't want to get in, right? Qin Feiyang sighed deeply and waved to Dong Cheng and Dong Cheng. "Okay, I'll be magnanimous this time. You don't need to get in." Magnanimous? Everyone was speechless. They had seen shameless people, but they had never seen such a shameless person. Sure enough, birds of a feather flocked together. This man and wolf were not good people. "Bastards! Can you be any more shameless? Let me tell you, today's matter is not over. If you have the guts, come with me to the martial arts practice field." Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng were furious. One pretended to be timid and aggrieved. The other pretended to be magnanimous and good. They were the ones who were humiliated. Shouldn't they be the ones who should be aggrieved? Even if they were shameless, they couldn't be so shameless to this extent. One-on-one? What's your cultivation? What's mine and the white-eyed wolf's cultivation? You have the nerve to challenge us one-on-one. Is there something wrong with your brain? Qin Feiyang ridiculed and felt very good in his heart. This kind of person, if you don't teach him a lesson, he won't know what's good for him. As for one-on-one, he wasn't that stupid. Hearing this, the anger in Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng's heart became more and more uncontrollable. "Aren't you very arrogant? Say yes if you have the guts. I'll let you use one hand. How about that? You still don't dare to say yes? Are you still a fucking man?" Dong Chung roared. Idiot. Qin Feiyang shook his head and said lightly, if you really have the ability, come and compete with me in alchemy. You have no guts. You don't deserve to be a man. Dong Chung roared and was about to go crazy. The elixirs that he and Xiao Hong refined had almost no elixir patterns. How could they be compared? Wasn't it obvious that they were bullying? I really feel sorry for you. As alchemists, you don't dare to use alchemy to solve the conflict. You have to use martial arts. How ridiculous. You might as well go to the martial arts hall and use martial arts there. I guarantee that no one will despise you. Chapter 311. Despise? Xiao Hong and Dong Chung went crazy. This person really had a glib tongue. Even black could be said to be white by him. Originally, the Sacred Palace didn't stipulate that the disciples of the Pill Hall had to compete in alchemy. It could also be solved by force. But when Qin Feiyang said that, they actually felt ashamed. It was as if solving it by force was a very shameful thing. Qin Feiyang glanced at the two and couldn't help but laugh. With this little ability, they wanted him to be a follower? What a joke. All right, this matter ends here. As for senior brother Dong Cheng's alchemy room number 4, seeing that you guys are so pitiful, I don't want it. Elders, thank you for your hard work. Qin Feiyang waved his hand generously and bowed to the two middle-aged men. Then, he turned around and led Lu Hong and Wolf King into alchemy room number 3. Pitiful? Bastard. Stop right there. This matter isn't over yet. Xiao Hong and Dong Chung were stunned at first. Then, they roared and rushed towards alchemy room number 3. Enough. Don't you think it's shameful enough? If you want to get back your face, then work hard in alchemy. The two middle-aged men shouted. Their bodies trembled and stopped. Their hands were tightly clenched together. Looking at the backs of the two people and the wolf, their eyes were filled with killing intent. One of the deacon elders entered the alchemy room and found Qin Feiyang. He smiled and said, "Can you give me that prolonging pill?" "Sure." Qin Feiyang nodded without saying anything. He took out the prolonging pill and handed it to the man. "Be careful. They definitely won't let this go." The deacon elder whispered and walked out of the alchemy room. Dong Chung, Xiao Hong, I'll say this first. The grudge between you two in the Sacred Palace can only be solved by the Sacred Palace's method. If I find out that you used your family's power to deal with Qin Feiyang, don't blame me for being ruthless. The deacon elder said with a cold face. Disciple understands. Xiao Hong and the other man suppressed their anger and nodded. As long as you understand. The deacon elder's expression also eased a lot, and after a few more words of advice, he quickly left with the other deacon elder. Bang! Lu Hong also closed the stone door of the pill refining room. She turned to look at Qin Feiyang and asked in confusion, "Why did you return pill refining room 4 to them? You really want it?" Qin Feiyang was surprised. "I don't even concoct pills. Why would I want it? I just don't like their faces and don't want to give it to them." Lu Hong said in disgust. "Your thinking is too simple. Even if I give you alchemy room 4, you won't be able to keep it." Qin Feiyang shook his head and smiled. Lu Hong only had level 5 spiritual power. Others would not let her occupy alchemy room 4. The upper echelons of the temple would not allow a disciple with poor aptitude to occupy a good alchemy room. She was afraid that Xiao Hong and the other man would challenge her before her, but warmed up. With her alchemy skills, she was not their opponent at all. In the end, not only would she not be able to keep the alchemy room, but she would also be ruthlessly humiliated by the two. So, instead of taking advantage of the moment, she might as well give it up. However, Qin Feiyang was sure that Xiao Hong and the other man would not want alchemy room 4. Because he said that he did not want that alchemy room because he pitted the two of them. This sentence was enough to hurt Xiao Hong and the other man's self-esteem. With their arrogant character, they would definitely not continue to stay in alchemy room 4. At the same time, outside, Dong Chung said unwillingly, "Could it be that this matter is over just like that?" Wishful thinking. We don't dare to touch them in the temple, but as long as they leave the temple, it will be their time of death. Xiao Hong laughed sinisterly. Dong Cheng's eyes also flashed with a sinister look. So he's not stupid. Even Xiao Hong and the other man were played by him. He's smarter than anyone else. At the same time, somewhere on the 7th floor, Huang San hid in the crowd, looking at the closed alchemy room 3, his face full of fear. He originally thought that this person was stupid and had no brains. It was only at this moment that he realized that this was just his wishful thinking. This person's brain, even if there were 10, no, even if there were 100 of him added together, he would still not be his opponent. Huang San was also very smart. Knowing that Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng would not let him go, he retreated to the back of the crowd, preparing to hide in the alchemy room. However, things did not go as he wished. Xiao Hong suddenly turned around and shouted, "Huang San, get the hell up here!" Dong Cheng also immediately turned around, lowered his head to look at Huang San, and said gloomily, "If you don't come up in 10 breaths, you will bear the consequences." Huang San's body trembled and hurriedly ran towards the stairs. Qin Feiyang had extraordinary talent in alchemy, so he was not afraid of these two people. Even the upper echelons of the temple would think of ways to protect Qin Feiyang, but he was different. His talent in alchemy was not high, nor did he have a strong background. He could not afford to offend these two people. So, even though he knew that this trip pointed to disaster, he could only obediently go up. Xiao Hong's eyes flashed with a hint of gloominess. He turned to look at the 6 young men and women and ordered, "Immediately give up the number 5 and 6 alchemy rooms for me." The man and woman's faces changed. They were the owners of the number 5 and 6 alchemy rooms. The man said angrily, "Xiao Hong, what do you mean? Alchemy room number 4. Didn't Qin Feiyang not want it?" Xiao Hong shouted, "Qin Feiyang already said that. How can we still want it?" Dong Cheng nodded his head. His tone just now was completely giving us charity. Sure enough, as Qin Feiyang had expected, the two's backbone and self-esteem did not allow them to accept this kind of charity, even though they knew that Qin Feiyang did it on purpose. The woman said, "Since that's the case, then give us the number 4 alchemy room." Xiao Hong waved his hand impatiently. "Do whatever you want." At this time, Huang San walked up and said with a flattering smile, "Senior brother Xiao Hong, senior brother Dong Cheng, why did you call me up?" "Of course there's something. Come, follow us in." The two of them sneered and turned to walk towards Lu Ziyuan's alchemy room number 2. Huang San was terrified to the extreme, but he could only brace himself and follow. When he entered the alchemy room, Xiao Hong and the other two immediately closed the stone door and kicked it at the same time. Bang! Huang San immediately fell to the ground like a dog eating shit. "You bastard! How dare you lie to us? Is Qin Feiyang stupid? If it weren't for your nonsense, we wouldn't have fallen to this point." The two of them punched and kicked, crazily beating Huang San to vent the anger in their hearts. "Senior brothers, please spare me. This time, I made a mistake. It's my fault." "But senior brothers, you have eyes too. If I made a mistake, why did you make a mistake too? You can't put all the blame on me." Huang San wailed in grievance. "Fuck, you still dare to quibble. See if I don't kill you today." Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng became angrier and angrier. Huang San was also stupid. The two of them were so conceited. How could they admit their mistakes? His words were tantamount to exposing their shortcomings, making the two of them even more embarrassed. Naturally, his fate would be even worse. Shua. At this moment, a young man in white descended into the alchemy room out of thin air. It was Lu Ziyuan. Seeing Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng beating up Huang San, he couldn't help but be slightly stunned. Then, he was shocked to discover that Huang San was about to die, but the two of them showed no signs of stopping. His expression changed, and he hurriedly went forward to pull the two of them, shouting, "What are you doing? You caused a death in the sacred palace. Even your family members can't save your lives. You're finally back. Let me tell you, this person is asking for a beating." Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng's anger had not subsided. Lu Ziyuan glanced at the two of them and frowned. "What's going on? Why are you so angry?" Xiao Hong said resentfully, "Is it because of Qin Feiyang? My and Dong Cheng's alchemy rooms were both robbed by him?" "Him?" Lu Ziyuan smiled disdainfully and said, "Don't joke with me. I'm in a bad mood right now. Who has the time to joke with you? Go out and see for yourself. He's in my alchemy room right now." Xiao Hong said angrily. Lu Ziyuan was shocked, looking at Xiaohong and Dong Qing's expressions. It did not seem like they were joking. What's going on? Tell me quickly. He walked into the lounge and sat beside the coffee table, his expression somewhat ugly. Xiaohong and the other two also entered the lounge. They recounted everything that had happened before in full detail. As for Huang San, he was like a dead dog lying on the ground outside, dying, and no one cared about him. After listening to them, Lu Ziyuan's face was as gloomy as water. Supreme Great Alchemist. We were all fooled by them. Do you know? In fact, the three of them are all battle monarchs. Lu Ziyuan said. What? They look like 17 or 18 years old. How could they be battle monarchs? Did you make a mistake? Xiaohong and Dong Qing's faces were full of disbelief. I'm not mistaken. When I sent the pills back, Steward Lu told me himself. Also, that woman kicked Lu Feng's balls until they burst. There's something else that's even more shocking. That scoundrel sneaked into the Lu family last night and peeped at Lu Tingting taking a bath. When I found out about this, I immediately used the portal to teleport back and told you to be careful, but I was still a step too late. Lu Ziyuan sighed. Xiaohong and Dong Cheng were dumbfounded. That scoundrel is too bold, isn't he? How dare he go to the Lu family and behave atrociously? Lu Ziyuan said, initially, Steward Lu told me to find a chance to get rid of them, but now it seems that it won't be that easy. Xiaohong and Dong Cheng nodded. The value of a supreme great alchemist could not be measured by money, not to mention that the two people and the wolf were martial Dao monsters, and the higher-ups of the divine sanctum would definitely protect them. But is this the end of the matter? They were unwilling to accept it. Dong. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. Who would come to us at this time? Xiaohong frowned. Who would come to us knowing that we're angry? Who would be so blind? Let him in and we'll know. Lu Ziyuan smiled and said to Dong Cheng, go and open the door. Chapter 312. At the door, the Wolf King bared its fangs, and there was a trace of a smile in its bell-like eyes. Behind Wolf King, Qin Feiyang and Lu Hong stood side by side. Their faces were also full of smiles. What are you doing here? Dong Cheng raised his eyebrows, and then when he saw the smile on Qin Feiyang's face, he said, if you're here to ask for peace and apologize, then forget it. Apologize? Ask for peace? Two people and one wolf were a little stunned. What was with this person's eyes? Couldn't he see that they were here to cause trouble? A good dog doesn't block the way. Get out of the way. Wolf King waved its paw, pushed Dong Cheng aside, and swaggered into the alchemy room. As soon as it saw Lu Ziyuan sitting in the lounge, it turned to look at Qin Feiyang and said with a sneaky smile, Lu Ziyuan is here? That's good. Qin Feiyang and Lu Hong also walked into the alchemy room. What the hell do you want? Xiaohong suddenly got up and glared at them. Dong Cheng also closed the stone door and walked into the lounge. He stood beside Xiaohong, and his eyes flashed with cold light. Lu Ziyuan didn't say anything. Oh, why don't you go wash up? No wonder it's because my holy water is too fragrant that you can't bear to wash it. Do you want me to give you some more? Wolf King glanced at Xiaohong and Lu Hong and said with a strange smile. While speaking, he didn't forget to stick out a certain part of his lower body. Rogue. Lu Hong's face turned red, and she cursed secretly. However, Xiaohong and Lu Hong's faces were green and red, and their bodies were trembling. They were so angry that they almost vomited blood. They really wished they could immediately take a knife and castrate the Wolf King's thing. What's wrong with this person? Qin Feiyang looked at Huang San suspiciously, then looked up at Lu Ziyuan and said with a smile, Senior Brother Lu, I came uninvited. Please forgive me. Lu Ziyuan said lightly, don't play these tricks, just say what your purpose is. Senior Brother Lu is indeed a straightforward person. Qin Feiyang smiled. His eyes swept across the alchemy room as he said, I'm in alchemy room number 3. No matter how I think about it, I can't help but feel that something is wrong. What are you trying to say? Lu Ziyuan frowned. Qin Feiyang said, I want to say that I've taken a fancy to your alchemy room. I wonder if Senior Martial Brother Lu can bear to part with it and give it to me? Lu Ziyuan suddenly stood up, a sharp light flashing in his eyes. Qin Feiyang, don't go too far. Do you think that you can do whatever you want in the sacred hall just because you can refine supreme grade pills? Xiao Hong and the other man roared. He had just snatched their alchemy room, and now he actually came to snatch Lu Ziyuan's alchemy room. He was too arrogant. Too much? Compared to all of you, I'm really a good person. Senior brother Lu, how was it? If you're unwilling, then I can only issue you a challenge before everyone. Qin Feiyang smiled. Lu Ziyuan said in a deep voice, if you really have the guts, then go and challenge Morong Jing. Don't be a tyrant here and bully the weak. Lu Hong couldn't help but burst out laughing. It was clearly these three people who came to find trouble with them in the beginning. They were just giving them a taste of their own medicine. Now, they were saying that they were bullying the weak? What a joke. Lu Ziyuan and the other two looked at Lu Hong with a piercing sharpness in their eyes. Lu Hong waved her hand and smiled. Sorry, I couldn't hold it in. You guys continue. Humph. Lu Ziyuan snorted and looked at Qin Feiyang. If you have the guts to challenge Morong Jing, then I'll really admire you. You want to shift the blame? You're too naive. First, Morong Jing and I have no enmity. Why should I become enemies with her? Besides, women are meant to be protected, not challenged. As a man, you actually said such words. I'm really ashamed of you. Second, I don't need the admiration of a two-faced villain. Previously on the first floor, you were so arrogant. Of course, I have to return the favor. So today, I'm going to take your alchemy room. Qin Feiyang smiled. Crack. Lu Ziyuan clenched his fists, his expression extremely ugly. Too arrogant, too presumptuous. Don't stop me. I'm going to kill him. Xiao Hong was unable to restrain his anger and pounced towards Qin Feiyang. Dongcheng and Lu Ziyuan really didn't stop him. A strange light flashed in their eyes. If Xiao Hong really killed this person, it would be the best of both worlds. Because Xiao Hong killed this person, it had nothing to do with them. If the upper echelons of the Holy Sanctum investigated, they would only pursue Xiao Hong's responsibility. This way, they could also get rid of Xiao Hong along the way. This way, they would have one less competitor. Qin Feiyang looked at the two of them and suddenly felt enlightened. Although the three of them seemed to have a good relationship on the surface, in reality, they all had evil intentions. Cough, cough. He coughed dryly and looked at Xiao Hong, who was charging over. He smiled meaningfully. Don't be used by some people. Xiao Hong was shocked and stopped immediately. His muddled mind calmed down quickly. At the same time, an imperceptible glint flashed in the depths of his eyes. He was no fool to be able to survive to this day. After being reminded by Qin Feiyang, he instantly saw through Lu Ziyuan and Dongcheng's intentions. However, he endured it. That was because Lu Ziyuan and Dongcheng's talent in alchemy was similar to his, and the threat they posed to him was far less than Qin Feiyang. Therefore, the most important thing now was to join forces to get rid of Qin Feiyang. At the same time, Lu Ziyuan and Dongcheng exchanged glances, feeling as though there was a heavy stone pressing down on their hearts. To be able to see through their schemes with a single glance, this person's insight was even more shocking than they had imagined. This was a formidable opponent. Lu Ziyuan walked to Xiao Hong's side and patted his shoulder, smiling. Forget it. It's just an elixir refinement room. What's the harm in giving it to them? Dongcheng nodded. That's right. Sooner or later, the elixir refinement room will return to our hands. Qin Feiyang, have you heard of an old saying? Mountains and rivers take turns. Let's wait and see. Lu Ziyuan's lips curled into a faint smile. He packed his personal belongings and left the elixir refinement room. The good show is yet to come. Before Xiao Hong and Dongcheng left, they also looked at Qin Feiyang coldly. The three of them went to elixir refinement room 3. Haha, it feels good to step on such an arrogant person. The Wolf King shook its head, feeling incomparably delighted. The resentment that had been bottled up in its heart had finally been completely vented. Lu Hong covered her mouth and could not help but laugh. Looking at Huang San, she asked, how should we deal with this person? Huang San's heart skipped a beat as he said hurriedly, Junior Brother Qin. No. Senior Brother Qin, I'm innocent. Don't make things difficult for me, all right? His voice was weak, and it was clear that his injuries were not light. Lu Hong asked, "Then why did they beat you up?" Huang San stammered. How could he dare to say it? If he said it out loud, the two people and the wolf would probably beat him up fiercely. Wolf King chuckled. "You're not going to say it? I was just worried that I had nothing better to do. Why don't I have some fun with you?" Don't. Don't. I'll say it. I was the one who told Xiao Hong and the others that you were silly, Senior Brother Qin. That's why they want to find trouble with you." Huang San said. "So, you're the fuse of this entire matter." Lu Hong's face was as cold as ice. "Senior sister, I know I was wrong. Please let me go. I promise I won't speak nonsense in the future." Huang San begged weakly. Lu Hong's eyes flashed with killing intent as she sneered. "How can it be so easy? I'll kill you right now." At the same time that she finished speaking, her spotlessly white jade fingers grabbed towards Huang San's throat. Qin Feiyong hurriedly grabbed her wrist and said in surprise, "You're really going to kill him?" Lu Hong said, "What's the point of keeping such a person alive? Don't forget the rules of the Divine Temple. If you kill him, you will be implicated. It's not worth it for such a person," Qin Feiyong said, his eyes flashing slightly as he whispered in Lu Hong's ear, "Take out the image crystal and record everything he says." "Is that necessary?" Lu Hong frowned. "Didn't Wolf King say that the Divine Temple forbids private fights? Lu Ziyuan and the others have violated the rules by torturing Huang San like this. Who knows, maybe this conversation will come in handy in the future." Qin Feiyong laughed softly. "Okay." Lu Hong nodded and took out the image crystal without a trace. Qin Feiyong coughed and looked at Huang San. "Tell me everything you know. How Lu Ziyuan and the others beat you up." Okay. I'll tell you." Huang San nodded his head repeatedly. How could he dare to hide anything? He told them everything in full detail. When Huang San finished, Qin Feiyong turned to look at Lu Hong. Lu Hong nodded. Qin Feiyong smiled and looked down at Huang San. He shook his head and said, "Seeing how pitiful you are, I won't make things difficult for you. Take care of yourself and throw him out." Lu Hong did not say anything else. She picked up Huang San and threw him out before closing the stone door. Elixir Refinement Room 2. Lu Hong, go and clean up the resting room and the cultivation room. I'll try and see how many supreme-grade elixirs I can refine. Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed as he walked towards the elixir refinement room. Lu Hong also put away the image crystal and walked into the cultivation room. But at this moment, "Qin Feiyong, come out." An angry roar sounded outside the door. Two people and one wolf looked at each other. Why did this voice sound so familiar? Lu Hong said, "It's the law enforcement elder, Lu Yun. What is she doing here?" Qin Feiyong frowned, and from his tone, he seemed to be a bit angry. He hurriedly walked to the door and opened it. He saw a beautiful woman in white standing outside with an ugly expression. Huang San was still sprawled on the ground, covered in wounds. He did not even have the strength to stand up. Qin Feiyong walked out of the elixir refinement room and cupped his hands. "Greetings, Elder Lu." Lu Hong bowed as well. Lu Yun said in a deep voice, "Let me ask you, why did you do this?" "Elder, what are you referring to?" Qin Feiyong was somewhat baffled. "Are you still playing dumb with me? You really disappoint me. I thought you were a talent, but I never expected you to beat someone to such a state the moment you came to the Sacred Hall. Do you think that you can do whatever you want in the Sacred Hall just because you can refine supreme-grade elixirs?" Chapter 313. Qin Feiyong was stunned. He thought that Lu Yun was blaming him for allowing Wolf King to pee on Xiao Hong and Luo Yunyang. It turned out that Lu Yun thought that he was the one who had beaten up Huang San. Qin Feiyong hurriedly explained, "Elder, you've misunderstood. We didn't beat up Huang San. It was Lu Ziyuan and the rest." However, he felt an inexplicable sense of disgust towards this law-enforcing elder. It was ridiculous for him to jump to a conclusion without asking for the reason or right or wrong. Lu Ziyuan and the rest? Lu Yun frowned and shouted, "Lu Ziyuan, come out immediately." Clang. The stone door of Alchemy Room 3 opened. Lu Ziyuan and the other two walked out one after another and bowed. Greetings, Elder Lu. The 6 young men and women with level 9 mental strength also ran out when they heard the news. Lu Yun looked at Lu Ziyuan and the other 2 and asked, "What happened to Huang San?" "We don't know." Lu Ziyuan and the other 2 looked at Huang San and shook their heads in confusion. The show is about to begin again. Qin Feiyang's eyes flickered. Perhaps the words he had just recorded could come in handy now. Lu Yun said, "Then why did Qin Feiyang say that you were the ones who beat up Huang San?" "He's slandering us. Elder, look, we still have the urine of that beast on us." They are relying on the fact that they can refine supreme-grade pills to flaunt their prowess here. They don't take anyone seriously at all. Elder, if you don't believe me, you can ask Huang San. Lu Ziyuan and the other 2 were filled with righteous indignation and grievance. Lu Yun looked at Lu Ziyuan and the other 2, then at Qin Feiyang, Luo Yunyang, and Wolf King. His eyes were filled with anger. How unruly! You people have been spoiled to the heavens. Today, I must get to the bottom of this. If anyone lies, then don't blame this elder for being merciless. Huang San, get up, Lu Yun shouted. Huang San's gaze trembled slightly. If he were to speak the truth, he would definitely offend Lu Ziyuan and the other 2. If he helped Lu Ziyuan and the other 2 to slander Qin Feiyang, he would offend Qin Feiyang, a top-grade alchemist. He couldn't afford to offend these 2 groups of people. There was bitterness in his heart. He was just a nobody. Why did they have to put him in the middle and make things difficult for him? In the end, he simply pretended to pass out. As long as he didn't say anything, this matter would have nothing to do with him. Lu Ziyuan and the other 2 exchanged glances as a trace of ridicule flashed across their eyes. Junior brother Huang San, don't be afraid. With Elder Lu upholding justice, Qin Feiyang won't dare to do anything to you. That's right. Say what you need to say, and let Elder Lu make the decision for you. The 3 of them walked over and lowered their heads to look at Huang San with a smile. However, Huang San was sprawled on the ground, motionless, as if he had really fainted. Lu Ziyuan squatted on the ground and flipped Huang San over. When he saw the injuries on Huang San's body, his expression changed. He raised his head and glared at the 2 men and the wolf, shouting, "What feud does he have with you? Why are you so ruthless?" Sigh, how pitiful. Huang San is a fellow disciple after all. What you did is really too much. Xiao Hong and the other 2 shook their heads and sighed. The 2 men and the wolf remained silent. However, if one were to observe carefully, they would discover a hint of amusement in their eyes. Go ahead, go on. The more ferocious the commotion, the angrier Lu Yun would be when the truth came out. When that time came, it wouldn't be as simple as punishment. Lu Yun's brows furrowed deeper as he took out a healing pill and threw it to Lu Ziyuan. Feed him. I want him to say it himself.
Yes.
Lu Ziyuan caught the healing pill and replied respectfully before stuffing it into Huang San's mouth. What should we do? However, Huang San was burning with anxiety. From the looks of it, he couldn't escape today. He pondered for a moment, then slowly opened his eyes and asked, "Where is this?" Lu Ziyuan smiled. "Junior brother Huang San, you're finally awake. Quickly tell Elder Lu how Qin Feiyang and company tortured you." Elder Lu? Huang San was slightly taken aback. He hurriedly got up and knelt respectfully on the ground. He kowtowed. Disciple Huang San greets Elder Lu. Lu Yun said, "Tell me, how did you get these injuries?" This, Huang San looked at Lu Ziyuan and company. A sharp glint flashed across their eyes. Upon seeing this sharp glint, Huang San's heart trembled. He then looked at Qin Feiyang and Wolf King. Lu Hong said, "Let me give you a piece of advice. Don't be used by others again." "What are you doing? How dare you threaten him in front of Elder Lu? Aren't you being too bold?" Lu Ziyuan and company shouted. The corners of Lu Hong's mouth curled up as she pursed her lips in deep mockery. Lu Ziyuan patted Huang San on the shoulder and said with a smile, "Junior brother Huang San, don't be afraid. We will help you. Just tell us the truth." Huang San steeled his heart and looked at Lu Yun. "Elder Lu, it was Qin Feiyang and company who beat me up. Elder, please uphold justice for me." Lu Ziyuan and company laughed. However, Qin Feiyang and Wolf King also laughed. Only Lu Yun's expression was as cold as frost. She turned to look at Qin Feiyong and said, "What else do you have to say?" Qin Feiyong said with a smile, "Elder Lu, to put it bluntly, some people are really spoiled by you. How dare you? How dare you speak to Elder Lu like that? Don't you know how to respect your elders?" Elder Lu, this person is narrow-minded and ruthless. He must be severely punished. Lu Ziyuan and company bowed. Lu Yun's expression sank as she said, "Qin Feiyong, immediately give up Alchemy Room No. 2 and scram back to the first floor. You are not allowed to come to the 10th floor for a year." Lu Ziyuan and company looked at each other, feeling extremely smug. Arrogant. Continue being arrogant. I already said that Alchemy Room number 2 will soon return to us, but you still don't believe me? Now, it has come true, right? This is the outcome of going against us. Seeing Qin Feiyong's indifference, Lu Yun completely lost her patience and shouted, "Get lost." Sigh. Qin Feiyong sighed deeply. He didn't have a good impression of this laughable woman. He said indifferently, "Lu Hong, let our elder Lu listen carefully." Huh. Lu Ziyuan and company were taken aback. Lu Hong took out an image crystal and infused it with her battle aura. The words she had recorded echoed clearly in the void. How did this happen? Wang San's face went blank. When did they record it? Lu Ziyuan and company's faces instantly turned pale as they slumped to the ground weakly. Why did this happen? Victory was clearly in their grasp. Qin Feiyong was about to be beaten back to his original state and become a street rat. Why did this happen? Heavens, why did you have to tease us? The three of them were dejected. It's over. Lu Yun will definitely fly into a rage. They raised their heads and carefully looked at Lu Yun. Indeed, Lu Yun clenched her fists tightly. Her expression was gloomy as a bone-chilling cold aura emanated from her body. "Elder Lu, we were wrong. Elder Lu, please give us a chance to turn over a new leaf. We will definitely be honest in the future. Elder, please give us a way out." The three of them hurriedly admitted their mistakes and asked for leniency. Sigh. Qin Feiyong sighed deeply. If he hadn't been careful today, he would probably be the one begging for mercy. If he wanted to survive in the sacred hall, he had to take every step carefully. Otherwise, he would be smashed to pieces if he wasn't careful. He lowered his head and looked at Huang San. Huang San immediately lowered his head in panic, not daring to meet his gaze. Qin Feiyong shook his head and said, "I already told you to behave yourself, but why didn't you listen?" "Senior brother Qin, I had no choice." Huang San looked up at Lu Yun with a long face and said, "Elder Lu, I was forced. If I hadn't slandered senior brother Qin today, Lu Ziyuan and the rest would definitely not have let me off. Elder Lu, please be merciful and spare this disciple this time." Huang San begged bitterly. Sigh. This was the sorrow and helplessness of an insignificant person. Qin Feiyong looked at Lu Yun and shook his head. "Do you see that? Are you still going to deny what I said?" Elder Lu's expression was gloomy. These people were not just pampered to the heavens. They were practically running amok. From the looks of it, they were about to do whatever they wanted in the Pill Fire Hall. "All right. Very good. I didn't expect our sacred hall to nurture so many overlords. Do you think you are very powerful? That you are very impressive?" Lu Yun lowered his head and asked the trio. The anger in his heart was burning wildly. "No, no." Lu Ziyuan and company hurriedly shook their heads. "Scram. Get out of the Pill Fire Hall immediately. Kneel in the square outside for a month. Without my permission, anyone who dares to stand up will be expelled from the sacred hall and will never be allowed to take half a step into the sacred hall." Lu Yun roared. She was completely enraged. It was a big joke that such a thing happened under her jurisdiction. "Elder Lu, please be merciful. We really know our mistakes." Lu Ziyuan and company hurriedly kowtowed and begged for mercy. Their faces were as pale as paper. Lu Yun shouted, "If you don't scram, I will have your family members come to the sacred hall to collect your corpses." Boom. With that said, the trio felt as if they had been struck by lightning. Their bodies and minds trembled. They hurriedly got up and ran to the first floor as if they were running for their lives. Wolf King stood on the ground and waved his claws. "Run slowly. Don't fall." Bang. Bang, bang, bang. Lu Ziyuan and company immediately staggered and rolled down the stairs. Their heads were bleeding, and they screamed in pain. Wakaka, see? I told you to run slowly, but you didn't listen. Look at you now. You've lost all your face. Wolf King laughed in schadenfreude. Qin Feiyong and Lu Hong looked at each other, their eyes full of smiles. One had to know. For the arrogant Lu Ziyuan and company, kneeling in the square outside for a month was more painful than death. It was also obvious that Lu Yun was truly enraged. The one who was most afraid now was Huang San. Lu Yun was silent, as if she was considering how to deal with him. There was dead silence. Moments later, Lu Yun finally looked at Huang San and said, "Pack up and leave the sacred hall immediately." "Ah!" Huang San exclaimed. This meant that he had been expelled from the sacred hall. Chapter 314. Oh! Lu Hong and Wolf King were stunned. Lu Yun also wore a look of surprise. Clearly, they didn't expect Qin Feiyong to plead for Huang San. As for Huang San, he was dumbfounded. He originally thought that even if Qin Feiyong didn't kill him, he would teach him a lesson. But not only did he not do that, he even spoke up for him. What a good person. Compared to Lu Ziyuan and company, this person was simply a kind angel. Lu Yun pondered for a moment and nodded. All right, since you don't want to pursue the matter, I have nothing else to say. She looked at Huang San and said, "You may leave first." Yes. Huang San hurriedly got up from the ground. Qin Feiyong said, "Remember this lesson. Don't be used by others in the future." "Thank you for your magnanimity, senior brother Qin," Huang San said with tears of gratitude. He then turned around and ran down the stairs without looking back. Lu Yun retracted her gaze and looked at Qin Feiyong with a smile. "I didn't expect you to be so magnanimous. I was wrong about you just now. Don't take it to heart." Qin Feiyong cupped his hands and said, "Elder, you're too kind. May I know why you're looking for me?" "Let's talk inside." Lu Yun glanced at the disciples who were looking downstairs and turned to walk into the alchemy room. The two humans and Wolf looked at each other and followed in with a trace of suspicion. Even Lu Ziyuan was defeated by Qin Feiyong. This fellow is quite capable. It looks like our pill fire hall is going to change in the future. That's right. Lu Ziyuan and company's days of arrogance have finally come to an end. As soon as the stone door to the alchemy room closed, all the disciples began discussing fervently. The 6 young men and women with level 9 psyche power looked at alchemy room number 2 with fear in their eyes. In the beginning, they knew that Huang San was beaten up by Lu Ziyuan and company. But due to the trio's status, they didn't dare interrupt. Similarly, they also wanted to take this opportunity to get rid of Qin Feiyong. But he never imagined that it would be Lu Ziyuan and the other 2 who would be defeated by Qin Feiyong. This person's mind is simply too amazing. He gives me the feeling that all of this is within his control. In the future, unless it is absolutely necessary, we must not provoke him again. A woman in white sighed. The other 5 nodded in agreement. This Qin Feiyong was much harder to deal with than Lu Ziyuan and the other 2. Alchemy room number 2. Lu Yun took out a pill and stared intently at Qin Feiyong. He asked, "Did you really refine this longevity extension pill?" Qin Feiyong looked at the pill. There was a glaring pill mark on it. He asked doubtfully, "Did those 2 deacon elders give it to you?" Lu Yun nodded. Qin Feiyong smiled and said, "Then it was me who refined it." "Not bad, not bad. Another genius alchemist has come to our sacred hall. As the saying goes, seeing is believing." Now that he had personally verified it, Lu Yun was overjoyed. But soon after, she frowned again and shook her head. "This shouldn't be your full strength." Qin Feiyong's heart skipped a beat. "The 2 deacon elders told me. When you refined this longevity extension pill, you didn't use Xiao Hong's 3rd grade cauldron. You also didn't use the pill fire hall's pill fire. This means that you can completely refine medicinal pills of even higher quality. Tell me, why are you hiding it?" Lu Yun looked at him curiously. People from the sacred hall are indeed difficult to deal with. Qin Feiyong muttered to himself and said with a smile, "To be honest, Elder, I just want to keep a low profile." "Keep a low profile?" Lu Yun was taken aback as a strange look appeared in his eyes. First, He snatched Xiaohong and Dongqing's alchemy rooms. Then, he snatched Lu Ziyuan's alchemy room and humiliated the three of them. How could this be called keeping a low profile? Upon seeing Lu Yun's expression, Qin Feiyang couldn't help but shake his head and laugh. If they didn't provoke me first, I wouldn't have humiliated them. He did plan on keeping a low profile. Even if he wanted to occupy a seat on the 10th floor, he wouldn't challenge Lu Ziyuan and company. They could only blame themselves for being blind. Lu Yun couldn't help but look at him in surprise and smile. Let me see your pinnacle alchemy skills. This, Qin Feiyang hesitated. Lu Yun said, I promise that I won't reveal it to anyone, including the prefecture lord. All right. I'll refine a healing pill. Qin Feiyang nodded. The other party was a law-enforcing elder who had repeatedly pleaded with him. If he rejected him, it would probably arouse his disgust. He strode into the alchemy room and took out the bronze cauldron and a set of herbs for the healing pill. Following that, he activated his alchemy fire and sent his psyche over, fusing it bit by bit. This time, the fusion took a total of 6 hours. At that moment, the sky outside had already darkened. Lu Ziyuan and company knelt side by side in the square. When the disciples passed by them, they couldn't help but whisper. This made them feel even more humiliated. The hatred in his heart towards Qin Feiyang became even more intense. Phew! After the fusion of psyche and alchemy fire, Qin Feiyang took a deep breath and began to refine in an orderly manner. In fact, he was also looking forward to what level of supreme-grade pill he could refine. One had to know. This was spiritual state, not Yin County. In Yin County, he was the only supreme-grade alchemist, and everyone had to curry favor with him. However, in spiritual state, there were only 2 known to be supreme-grade alchemists, Lu Xingqian and Morong Jing. If the supreme-grade pill he refined couldn't surpass the 2 of them, the upper echelons of the sacred palace wouldn't put in all their effort to nurture him. In other words, this alchemy was related to his future interests and fate. At the same time, Lu Yun sized up Qin Feiyang, who was refining pills, and nodded in approval. A good alchemist first depended on one state of mind. No desires and thoughts. No panic and no chaos. No hurry and no impatience. This child had such a state of mind. Whoosh! Dozens of breaths passed. The healing pill was finally out. Like a rainbow, it rushed out of the bronze alchemy furnace. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and held the healing pill firmly in his hand. Seeing this, Lu Yun, Lu Hong, and Wolf King surrounded him with anticipation. Phew! Qin Feiyang let out a long breath and slowly spread his 5 fingers. Rays of resplendent light shot out from the gaps between his fingers. Such a strong light. Lu Yun's gaze trembled. Wolf King urged, Little Qinzi, can you hurry up? You're so slow. You're really keeping us in suspense. Qin Feiyang glanced at the 2 of them and the wolf and suddenly spread his hands. A healing pill the size of a pellet suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. The light was too dazzling. It was almost impossible to see the pill patterns on the pill. It's 2 pill patterns, Lu Hong exclaimed. Lu Yun's body and mind were also trembling. The light came from the 2 pill patterns. He could actually refine a pill with 2 pill patterns? Unbelievable. His alchemy talent was so terrifying. He was no longer a monster, but a pervert, an inhuman. 2 eye-piercing pill veins madly attacked her line of sight, shaking her soul. As the person involved, Qin Feiyang also couldn't come back to his senses for a long time. Although he had already expected it, the excitement in his heart was indescribable when he saw it with his own eyes. Moreover, it was different from the healing pill refined in the alchemy room on the 1st floor. The light emitted by the 2 pill patterns on this healing pill was almost the same and extremely bright. If it went one step further, it would probably give birth to a 3rd pill pattern. It seems that I will still be popular in the spiritual state in the future, Qin Feiyang muttered. This was because the medicinal efficacy would increase exponentially with each additional pill vein. Take this healing pill, for example. If it was put up for auction, it would definitely cause a frenzy. Qin Feiyang, you are really good. Lu Yun also laughed without caring about her image. Her face, which was still charming, was blooming with happiness. Fortunately, Shi Ming didn't snatch this kid away. Otherwise, The pill hall would have lost a super monster. She stopped laughing and looked at Qin Feiyang. If you want alchemy room number 1, I will give it to you immediately. Qin Feiyang was stunned. Lu Hong said in a low voice, "This is a good opportunity." Qin Feiyang looked at her and pondered for a while. He shook his head and said, "Forget it. It's troublesome to run around. Thank you for your good intentions, Elder Lu." "You don't want it?" Lu Yun was shocked. Other disciples dreamed of getting alchemy room number 1. Now that it was in front of this kid, he didn't want it? Lu Yun asked, "Are you afraid of offending Morongjing?" Qin Feiyang smiled and said, "I didn't think so much. It's just that it's better to avoid trouble. Anyway, alchemy room number 2 is enough." He's not arrogant or rash. What a good seedling. Lu Yun muttered to herself and nodded with a smile. Up to you. However, alchemy is important, but so is cultivation. Don't just focus on alchemy and neglect your cultivation. I understand. Qin Feiyang nodded. All right, that's it. I'll take my leave first. By the way, can you give me this healing pill? Lu Yun asked. Sure. Qin Feiyang handed it over with both hands. Lu Yun played with it for a while and smiled. Take out your image crystal. We will establish a contract bridge. If there are any problems in the future, just send me a message. Okay. Qin Feiyang nodded. After establishing the contract bridge, Lu Yun left with the healing pill. Lu Hong went up and closed the stone door. She shook her head and said, "This woman is a little realistic. In this place, you can only be respected and valued if you show your value." Qin Feiyang smiled faintly and asked Lu Hong, "Are you tired now?" "I'm fine," Lu Hong said. Qin Feiyang said, "Then go to the resource hall and help me buy some battle chi pill herbs. Be careful on the way. There shouldn't be any ignorant people who will find trouble with me now, right?" Lu Hong covered her mouth and laughed. Then, she opened the stone door and quickly left. Wolf King came in front of Qin Feiyang and said with a fawning smile, "Little Qinzi, when are you going to help me refine the transformation pill and barrier-breaking pill?" "You're in such a hurry." Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes at it and walked to the pill furnace. He took out the barrier-breaking pill and transformation pill herbs. This was naturally sorted out by Fatso. Needless to say, with Fatso helping to sort out the herbs, it really saved him a lot of time. Hundreds of breaths passed. The barrier-breaking pill and transformation pill were finally out of the furnace. Wolf King impatiently swallowed them into his stomach. The next moment, its gigantic body glowed brightly like a resplendent full moon, illuminating the entire alchemy room. Qin Feiyang retreated to the side and watched curiously. Suddenly, his pupils shrank. Wolf King's body was shrinking in circles. 4 meters, 3 meters, 2 meters, 1 meter, half a meter. In the end, it was almost the size of a baby's palm. So magical. Qin Feiyang mumbled, "Haha, I've finally become smaller." Wolf King stood on the ground, looked at himself, and couldn't help but laugh. But then, it stretched out its paw and covered its mouth. Its eyes were full of surprise. Chapter 315. Qin Feiyang laughed. "Do you feel like you're dreaming?" Wolf King ignored him. It cleared its throat and said tentatively, "Lord Wolf, you're so handsome." Qin Feiyang immediately rolled his eyes. This ruffian wolf was getting more and more narcissistic. "Waha, you can talk now, and you can also become smaller. From now on, who can stop Brother Wolf from behaving atrociously?" Wolf King laughed wildly. Behave atrociously? Qin Feiyang's veins bulged. This bastard, besides behaving atrociously, did he have nothing else in his mind? But then again, the ruffian wolf was now able to freely change the size of his body. It was indeed much more convenient for him to do things like stealing chickens and touching dogs. It seemed that he had to restrain it. Otherwise, it would definitely bring him a lot of trouble before long. "This is for you." Qin Feiyang took out an image crystal. It was the image crystal that Lu Hong had bought with 10 million gold coins at the auction house. "You even prepared this thing for me?" Wolf King was surprised. Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes and said, "Which one of your matters have I not taken to heart?" "Heh, you're still the best. But where should I put it? I can't always hang a Chinkuan bag around my neck, right?" How unsightly. Wolf King was at a loss. Qin Feiyang's face twitched. It was just a wolf. Could he not be so narcissistic? Finally, after establishing the contract bridge, Qin Feiyang directly tied a Qinkuan bag around Wolf King's neck without any explanation. However, the rope that tied the Qinkuan bag could shrink freely. In this way, when Wolf King changed the size of his body, he would not break the rope. So ugly. If I met a beautiful female wolf, wouldn't I be disgusted to death? But forget it. Let's go out for a walk first. Hee hee, it's a dark and windy night, and there's no one around. It's a good opportunity to peek at a girl taking a bath. It laughed sinisterly and ran out of the alchemy room in a flash. By the time Qin Feiyang reacted and chased after him, he was long gone. He gnashed his teeth in anger. This bastard, can't he be a little less worrisome? At the center of the sacred palace, which was the junction between the Pill Hall and the Martial Arts Hall, there was a huge palace. It was more than 10 stories tall, and its entire body was as black as ink, emitting a cold aura. This was the resource hall. Although it was already dark, there were still many people going in and out. Outside the resource hall, there was a small plaza. Soon, Lu Hong walked into the plaza and quickly walked towards the resource hall. When the disciples entering and exiting saw her, they all revealed looks of awe. When Lu Hong entered the resource hall, another 2 white-clothed youths walked into the square, but they did not enter the resource hall. They stood in a dark corner and looked at Lu Hong from afar. One of them was fat, and the other was thin. The fat youth frowned and said, "Zheng Chuan, are you really going to do this? You must know that Lu Hong is Qin Feiyang's woman." Zheng Chuan was the person who introduced Qin Feiyang and the others to the stone stairs when they first came to the sacred palace. At that time, he was even more determined to eat Lu Hong, this swan meat. Hearing the fat youth's words, Zheng Chuan said in disdain, "Wang Fei, what's with your gaze?" Wang Fei frowned and said, "Anyone with eyes can see that Lu Hong and Qin Feiyang's relationship is not shallow. Yes, their relationship is indeed very good. But from what I observed during the day, they are not a couple. I'm guessing that Lu Hong is merely a maid by Qin Feiyang's side." Zheng Chuan said in disdain, "Since she is a servant girl, why do you still want to touch her? Is there a point?" Wang Fei was puzzled. "Of course there is a point. Let me tell you, during the day when we were at the bottom of the stone stairs, I asked for her name. Do you know how disdainful she was looking at me? It was as if she was looking at a fly. Tonight, this fly of mine is really going to play with her." Zheng Chuan snorted and pursed his lips into a sneer. Wang Fei said worriedly, "But what if Qin Feiyang finds out? At that time, we will be dead." "Don't worry, we won't be found out, because when I have played with her enough, I will kill her to silence her." Zheng Chuan's eyes flashed with a sinister look. "You are too crazy." Wang Fei raised his eyebrows and could not help but hesitate. "What are you afraid of? When I am tired of playing with her, I will let you play with her too. As for the treasures on her, we will split them equally." Zheng Chuan laughed softly. Wang Fei's eyes lit up and said with a smile, "You said it." "Of course." Zheng Chuan nodded. At this moment, Lu Hong walked out of the resource hall. "Play it by ear." Zheng Chuan whispered to Wang Fei and went up to her with a smile. "Beauty, we are really fated to meet again." Lu Hong looked at him in confusion and frowned. She said indifferently, "Do I know you?" Zheng Chuan's eyes flashed and he sighed. "We met this morning, and now you have forgotten about me." "Beauty, you are really forgetful." Lu Hong suddenly said, "I remember now. You're that person. May I ask what's the matter?" She was obviously patronizing him. Zheng Chuan became more and more annoyed. He said with a smile, "It's nothing. Wang Fei and I happen to be returning to the Pill Fire Hall. Why don't we go together?" "Whatever," Lu Hong said indifferently and walked towards a dark path. Zheng Chuan gave Wang Fei a look and quickly chased after her. From time to time, he would talk to Lu Hong. Lu Hong was annoyed. "Do it." About 100 breaths later, seeing that only the 3 of them were left on the path, Zheng Chuan gave a low shout. Wang Fei immediately reached out and grabbed Lu Hong's hands. "What are you doing?" Lu Hong flew into a rage and her battle chi surged. But at this moment, Zheng Chuan stuffed a pill into Lu Hong's mouth at lightning speed. Immediately, Lu Hong felt that she could not mobilize her battle qi, and her strength was quickly draining away. She was incomparably shocked and furious as she shouted, "What kind of medicinal pill did you give me?" Zheng Chuan laughed. "Is there a spiritual disaster pill? Once you take it, your cultivation will be completely destroyed." She had heard of it. Lu Hong's face was pale. She said angrily, "Why are you doing this? Aren't you afraid that Qin Feiyang will kill you?" "Haha, of course I am. But he will never know that we are the ones who killed you. But before I kill you, I want to have some fun. I'd like to see how arrogant you can be after I strip you naked." Zheng Chuan laughed lewdly. But before he could finish, a disciple suddenly walked over. His body was rather thin and short. Zheng Chuan cursed in his heart, "Damn it, someone actually came at this time. What bad luck. What should we do?" Wan Fei was rather nervous. "Don't panic," Zheng Chuan shouted in a low voice, lowered his head and looked at Lu Hong. "You no longer have any cultivation. If you dare to speak nonsense, I will kill you right now." Lu Hong's eyes flashed slightly as she looked at the person who came. That person was getting closer and closer. But when she saw the person's face clearly, Lu Hong immediately frowned. Because the person who came was none other than Huang San. Could it be that Huang San and these two were also in cahoots? Huang San also noticed them. He hurriedly ran over to Lu Hong and said with a flattering smile, "Senior sister, what are you doing here?" Lu Hong said calmly, "I'm here to help Qin Feiyang buy some medicinal herbs." "What are you doing here?" "I'm also here to buy medicinal herbs for the qi gathering pill." "Hey, isn't this Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei? Why are you with senior sister?" Huang San was puzzled. Zheng Chuan smiled and said, "We just happened to meet in the resource hall, so we are going back to the pill fire hall together." Huang San nodded and looked at Lu Hong with a smile. "Senior sister, I won't disturb you anymore." After that, he walked past Lu Hong. Cough, cough. But at this moment, Lu Hong bent down and covered her chest with her jade-like hand. She couldn't stop coughing. "Senior sister, what's wrong with you?" Huang San stopped and looked at her with concern. Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei stared at Huang San, their eyes full of killing intent. Lu Hong's eyes flashed slightly, and she quietly pulled off a jade pendant from her neck. Huang San said, "Senior sister, are you feeling unwell? Come on, let me help you up." "Thank you." Lu Hong got up and smiled. As she got up, she stuffed the jade pendant into Huang San's hand. Huang San was stunned and found that Lu Hong's eyes and expression seemed a little strange. And when she said thank you, Lu Hong even gave him a look. Was there a problem? Huang San's heart skipped a beat. He glanced at Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei without a trace, and a bad feeling arose in his heart. Lu Hong was afraid that he would be exposed, so she waved her hand and said, "It's none of your business. Go to your work." "Okay." Huang San nodded, grabbed the jade pendant, and walked toward the resource hall. After Huang San left, Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei immediately took out a dagger, holding Lu Hong as a hostage, and quickly disappeared along a small path. Soon, Huang San returned here again. Strange. Why did she give me this jade pendant? Could it be that she is asking me for help? Whatever, let's go find Qin Feiyang first. After all, it was because of his help that I can continue to stay in the holy hall. He muttered and ran all the way to the pill fire hall. He ran to the door of the number 2 alchemy room, panting, and knocked on the door. Qin Feiyang opened the stone door and saw Huang San. There was a trace of doubt in his eyes. "What's the matter? Do you know this?" Huang San handed the jade pendant to Qin Feiyang. "Fire Phoenix." Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled. He grasped his heart and asked, "Who gave it to you?" This jade pendant was the keepsake that Qin Feiyang gave to Lu Hong and others. Lu Hong, Fatso, Ling Yunfei, Feng Ling Er, and Lin Yi each had one. Huang San said, "Senior sister Lu Hong gave it to me? Damn it." Qin Feiyang cursed in his heart. Lu Hong would never give this jade pendant to Huang San easily. She must have encountered some danger, because in the past, he had told Lu Hong, if she encountered any danger, she could use this jade pendant to ask him for help when she couldn't use the image crystal. "Where is she? Show me the way." Qin Feiyang grabbed Huang San, jumped down from the 10th floor, landed at the bottom of the patio, and rushed out of the Pill Fire Hall. I met senior sister Lu Hong when I was on my way to the resource hall. Chapter 316. When Qin Feiyang ran out of the Pill Fire Hall, the two middle-aged men guarding the door reached out to stop him. Qin Feiyang, where are you going in such a hurry? Don't tell me you want to find a secluded place to kill Huang San? We all know that Huang San spoke out of turn, but it's all in the past. There's no need to pursue it. Just let him go. When the two saw Qin Feiyang holding Huang San with a murderous look, they thought that he was going to kill Huang San. They couldn't help but try to persuade him. Huang San paused and hurriedly said, "Elders, you've misunderstood. Senior brother Qin doesn't want to kill me." As Huang San spoke, Qin Feiyang scanned the square. He saw Wolf King in the middle of the square, triumphantly playing with the three of them. Wolf King also noticed him and immediately prepared to slip away. "Then what are you doing?" The two middle-aged men didn't understand. "Elders, there's no time to explain," Qin Feiyang hurriedly said, then grabbed Huang San and rushed toward the path leading to the resource hall. At the same time, he shouted at Wolf King, "White-eyed wolf, Lu Hong is in danger. Come with me immediately." "What? Little Hong is in danger? Damn it, who dares bully her? See if I don't cripple him today." When Wolf King heard this, he immediately stopped playing around and angrily chased after Qin Feiyang. "Did you hear that? That woman is in danger. Who has the guts to provoke Qin Feiyang now? Could it be another disciple of our three families? It's possible. But no matter who it is, I'm very happy to see them so anxious. I hope that person can kill that woman. At that time, Qin Feiyang will definitely be in great pain." Lu Ziyuan and the other two looked at the backs of Wolf King and Qin Feiyang. Sneers crept onto their faces. Wolf King caught up with her and asked, "Little Qin Zi, what happened?" Qin Feiyang explained briefly. "Zheng Chuan, Wang Fei. Fuck, even if the Heavenly King comes down today, he won't be able to save your worthless lives," Wolf King said coldly, his whole body emitting a fierce aura. "Qin Feiyang, I heard you say that Lu Hong is in danger. What do you mean?" One of the middle-aged men also caught up. Qin Feiyang said in a deep voice, "Elder, don't ask now. I will explain to you when I come back." The middle-aged man's heart trembled. In his impression, Qin Feiyang was a gentle and polite young man. However, at this moment, Qin Feiyang was like a ferocious beast. What was it that made him so angry? He was a little worried and said, "You're too slow. I will take you there." The middle-aged man waved his hand, and in less than 5 breaths, they arrived at the place where Lu Hong was plotted against. "Where are they?" "They are clearly here." Huang San was surprised. "White-eyed wolf, hurry up," Qin Feiyang shouted. Wolf King sniffed hard and nodded. "Her body fragrance is very strong. Little Hong did stay here for a while." Every woman's body had a unique fragrance. Especially virgins, their body fragrance was even more special. Wolf King and Lu Hong had been together for a long time and had long known each other. Naturally, he could distinguish the body fragrance left by Lu Hong. Qin Feiyang asked, "Where did she go?" "This way, come with me." Wolf King immediately followed the body fragrance and ran towards a small path. "This is simply a dog's nose," Huang San whispered. Wolf King turned his head and glared at him fiercely. If not for Lu Hong being in danger, Huang San's fate would definitely be very miserable. A torrential river meandered through the entire sacred palace. On a certain shore, there was a small forest. Dada. The hazy moonlight spread down. A series of footsteps suddenly sounded in the small forest in the dark night. It was Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei. They each held a dagger and placed it on Lu Hong's neck, vigilantly scanning the front. Not long later, they came to the side of the river. The rapid river made a splashing sound. With the sound of the river as a cover, even if she screams until her throat breaks, no one will hear. "Let's play with her here." Zheng Chuan licked his lips and turned to look at Lu Hong. He chuckled and said, "Little beauty, you didn't expect to fall into my hands so quickly, did you?" Lu Hong said coldly, "I advise you to let me go immediately." "Let you go?" Zhang Chuan was slightly stunned and could not help but laugh. Wang Fei frowned and urged, "Stop talking nonsense, hurry up." "No hurry, no hurry. Look, such a good figure, such a beautiful face. I can't bear to hurt you." Zhang Chuan shook his head and looked at Lu Hong's chest without restraint. Lu Hong's eyes surged with a cold light and said sternly, "I guarantee that you will die a horrible death." Slap. Zhang Chuan reached out and slapped Lu Hong on the left side of her face. A striking palm print immediately appeared. "You still dare to threaten me now? Okay, I'll strip you naked and let you have a taste of my power." Zhang Chuan's face was ferocious and his body was full of hostility. He reached out and grabbed Lu Hong's clothes. "Qin Feiyong, brother wolf, why aren't you here yet? Could it be that I'm really doomed today?" Lu Hong muttered to herself, her eyes filled with tears. No matter how strong she was only a weak woman. Seeing that her pure body was about to be tainted by a disgusting man, her heart was about to collapse. Helplessness and despair welled up in her heart. "No, even if I die, I can't be tainted by this beast." All of a sudden, a look of determination flashed in her eyes. She suddenly turned her head and took the initiative to meet the blade. Wang Fei's expression changed, and he hurriedly withdrew the dagger. But even so, on Lu Hong's spotlessly white neck, there was also a glaring wound. Blood spurted out like a fountain. Zhang Chuan was also shocked. "Bitch, the more you act like this, the more excited I am. I'd like to see if you're a loyal woman or not. Or are you just a loose woman?" With a sinister smile on his face, he opened his hands and pounced on Lu Hong like a wolf. "Bastard, you're courting death." At this moment, an angry roar sounded. "Brother wolf." Lu Hong's delicate body trembled. Zhang Chuan and Wang Fei were both shocked. "How did they find us?" Damn it! Damn it!" Zhang Chuan roared in exasperation. "Zhang Chuan, Wang Fei, do you know what you're doing now?" Another angry roar sounded. "It's the Deacon Elder." The two of them trembled both physically and mentally. "Zhang Chuan, what do we do now?" Wang Fei said anxiously, his face pale. "What do we do? Of course we run." Zhang Chuan roared, turned around without hesitation, and jumped into the turbulent river. "We're really doomed by this bastard." Wang Fei also jumped into the river with a bellyful of regret. After a few breaths, the middle-aged man brought Qin Feiyong, Huang San, and Wolf King and landed in front of Lu Hong. Wolf King said anxiously, "Little Hong, are you okay? Tell me, I'll uphold justice for you." Lu Hong looked at Qin Feiyong and Wolf King. The grievances in her heart exploded and the tears in her eyes burst out. She threw herself into Qin Feiyong's arms and cried bitterly. Her thin body trembled. "Don't be afraid, it's all in the past." Qin Feiyong patted her shoulder and comforted her in a low voice. However, his face was gloomy. His pitch-black eyes flickered with an extremely shocking cold light. "Damned beast!" Wolf King roared like thunder. He ran to the river and scanned the surface. "Huang San, where does this river lead to?" Huang San hurriedly said, "Brother Wolf, this river runs through the entire sacred hall. It'll be difficult to find them. Even if it's as difficult as ascending to the heavens, I won't let them go." Wolf King roared. "Qin Feiyong, Lu Hong must have suffered a great shock. Let's send her back first. I'll report Zhang Chuan and Wang Fei's evil deeds to Elder Lu later. She'll uphold justice for you," the middle-aged man said. He was also extremely angry that such a thing had happened. "Thank you very much," Qin Feiyong said in a low voice. Then, he carried Lu Hong and walked towards the Pill Fire Palace. Qin Feiyong was not very strong and his shoulders were not very broad. However, in Qin Feiyong's arms, Lu Hong felt unprecedentedly secure. This was reliance. This was a sense of security. Her fearful heart slowly calmed down. Wolf King followed beside her and asked anxiously, "Little Hong, did they hurt you?" "No, but my cultivation," Lu Hong said. At this point, her face was full of pain and she cried bitterly again. Wolf King said, "What's wrong with your cultivation? Hurry up and tell me. You're making me anxious." Lu Hong said painfully, "Zhang Chuan gave me a spiritual disaster pill when I wasn't paying attention. What? Wolf King, the middle-aged man, and Huang San all paled. Once a person took a spiritual disaster pill, they would become a cripple no matter how strong they were. Zhang Chuan actually dared to do such a thing. He was simply insane. Bastard, I'll go find them now. If I don't kill them, I swear I'm not a wolf. Wolf King roared and turned to run towards the river. Stop! Qin Feiyang shouted. What? Don't you want to seek justice for little Hong? Wolf King said angrily. Who said I don't want to? Qin Feiyang roared. That pair of dark eyes had already turned blood red. That was killing intent. Blood like killing intent. The spiritual disaster pill was his lifelong taboo. If it weren't for the spiritual disaster pill, he wouldn't have been reduced to a cripple back then. He didn't even want to hear those words. But he didn't expect that it would happen to Lu Hong again. He absolutely couldn't let these two people go. But now, refining the marrow-cleansing pill was more important. Moreover, the holy sanctum was so big. Just relying on him and Wolf King to find Zhang Chuan and little Hong was like looking for a needle in a haystack. It was a waste of time. Huang San, I'll have to trouble you to take Wolf King to the resource hall later to buy a set of medicinal ingredients for the marrow-cleansing pill. You pay the gold coins first. I'll give them to you when we come back. Qin Feiyang said. Okay. Huang San nodded. The middle-aged man quickly returned to the small path with 3 people and 1 wolf. Huang San and Wolf King went to the resource hall. Qin Feiyang and Lu Hong quickly returned to the pill fire hall with the middle-aged man's help. After escorting the two to the 10th floor, the middle-aged man said, Qin Feiyang, don't worry. I'll go see Elder Lu now. I'll definitely catch Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei as soon as possible. Thank you. Qin Feiyang nodded in thanks. Comfort her well. The middle-aged man glanced at Lu Hong, patted Qin Feiyang's shoulder, and left with a heavy expression. Chapter 317. In the alchemy room, Qin Feiyang lowered his head to look at Lu Hong in his arms. Seeing that she had no intention of getting down, he felt rather helpless. But Lu Hong had just suffered such a huge blow, and he couldn't bear to force her down. So he hugged her and comforted her softly. The middle-aged man also hurried out of the pill fire hall. The other man guarding the door was puzzled. What's going on? Not only did Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei plot against Lu Hong, but they also forced her to take the calamity pill. It's a long story. I'll go find Elder Lu. Watch carefully. With that, the middle-aged man quickly left. How dare they? The burly man guarding the door also flew into a rage. Such beastly behavior was simply smearing the name of the sacred temple. Lu Ziyuan and the other two were in the middle of the square, so they also heard this and found it unbelievable. Dongqing asked, Who are Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei? Lu Ziyuan said, They're two good-for-nothings. Their families are both in the East City, but they're just small families. Just a small family. How dare they provoke Qin Feiyang? They really don't know their place. Dong Cheng and Xiao Hong looked disdainful. They really don't know their place, but it's quite satisfying to cripple that woman. Lu Ziyuan laughed in schadenfreude. That's true. Xiao Hong nodded, then shook his head. No. What's wrong? Lu Ziyuan and Dong Cheng didn't understand. Xiao Hong said, Think about it. If Lu Hong was forced to take the calamity pill, what would Qin Feiyang do? Lu Ziyuan said, Of course he would refine the marrow-cleansing pill. At this point, Lu Ziyuan's eyes lit up. He chuckled. I understand what you mean. Dongqing said, I understand too. Block Qin Feiyang. Don't let him get the ingredients for the marrow-cleansing pill. I remember that the deacon elder in charge of the resource hall seems to be from your Lu family. Hurry up and send a message. While you're at it, contact the patriarch of your Lu family and have him communicate with the chief pavilion master of the treasure pavilion. We'll block him in all aspects. Xiao Hong sneered. Dongqing shook his head and said, I'm afraid it won't work. After all, Qin Feiyang is a top-rank alchemist. The treasure pavilion has probably already received the news. No. It will definitely work. Although Qin Feiyang is a top-grade alchemist, our Lu family also has a real top-grade alchemist, Lu Xingchen. On top of that, our Lu clan's old ancestor is also the city lord of the eastern city. The chief pavilion master will definitely choose to side with our Lu clan. Lu Ziyuan sneered. Dongcheng urged, if that's the case, then hurry up and send the message. Lu Ziyuan's eyes flashed. He turned his head to look at the large man guarding the door and groaned. Ouch, elder. This disciple suddenly has a stomachache. Don't talk nonsense. You're already a 7-star battle monarch, and you still have a stomachache? Do you think this elder is stupid? The big man rolled his eyes at him. Disciple is not bullshitting. It's true. Elder, please, let this disciple go to the toilet. This disciple promises to return immediately. Lu Ziyuan begged. His face flushed red. The big man frowned and waved his hand. Go, go. Don't run around. Although the temple was a place for cultivation, it also had a toilet in case of emergency. Thank you, elder. Lu Ziyuan thanked him and hurriedly ran out of the square. At the same time, Wolf King and Huang San rushed into the resource hall. At this moment, there were not many people in the resource hall. There was only a young man in white on duty. He was also a disciple of the temple. Working in the resource hall would give you a certain amount of remuneration. Of course, only those disciples with poor talent and no family background would work here. For people like Qin Feiyong, no matter how much you paid him, he would not be willing to come to this place. Because here, he had to be busy every day. For a martial artist and an alchemist, it was purely a waste of time. Huang San ran in front of the young man in white and said, Senior brother, I want a set of medicinal ingredients for the cleansing marrow pill. Quickly prepare it for me. Cleansing marrow pill? The young man in white was stunned and asked doubtfully, What do you want the cleansing marrow pill for? Wolf King shouted, If I tell you to take it, then take it. Why are you talking so much nonsense? The young man in white glanced at Wolf King with a trace of deep fear in his eyes. Wait a moment. After saying that, he ran upstairs to the storeroom. Wait. At this moment, a middle-aged man about 40 years old walked down from upstairs. He was thin, 6 feet tall, with a hooked nose and cold eyes, giving off a dark feeling. The young man in white bowed and said, Greetings, Elder Lu. The middle-aged man nodded and looked up at Wolf King and Huang San. I'm sorry, but there are no medicinal ingredients for the cleansing marrow pill. No? Wolf King was stunned. How is that possible? Huang San also frowned and said, Elder Lu, although the medicinal ingredients for the cleansing marrow pill are precious, the resource hall definitely has them. The young man in white next to the middle-aged man also had a trace of doubt in his eyes. He knew very well that there were medicinal ingredients, but why did Elder Lu say that there were none? What? Elder Lu frowned and said unhappily, Are you suspecting that I'm lying to you? I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare. Huang San hurriedly waved his hand and turned to look at Wolf King, asking, What do we do now? Let's go back first. Wolf King looked at Elder Lu and decisively ran out of the resource hall without wasting any more time. Elder Lu, sorry to disturb you. Huang San bowed to the middle-aged man and quickly chased after Wolf King. The young man in white retracted his gaze and turned to the middle-aged man, asking suspiciously, Elder Lu, don't we have medicinal ingredients? The middle-aged man said, Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. Anyway, remember, from now on, no matter who comes to buy the medicinal ingredients for the cleansing marrow pill, we don't have them. I understand. The young man in white nodded and said, What if it's the law enforcement elder or the hall master? The middle-aged man pondered for a while and said, Just say that someone bought them all a few days ago and didn't have time to buy them. Remember, don't talk nonsense. Yes. The young man in white bowed and replied. However, he sighed in his heart. Qin Feiyong, oh Qin Feiyong, why did you provoke the Lu family? Don't you know that the Lu family's power has already infiltrated every corner of the spiritual state? It would be a piece of cake for them to deal with you. What a bastard! He's simply tarnishing the reputation of our holy sanctum. Send someone to find him immediately. If he's dead, I want to see him. If he's alive, I want to see his corpse. At the same time, Lu Yun's angry roar sounded in the law enforcement hall. Yes, the middle-aged man received the order and left. His entire body was filled with a murderous aura. Alchemy Room 2. When the Wolf King returned, he did not knock on the door and directly barged in. Huang Xin also followed behind him. Ah, why are you still hugging? The weather isn't cold. Do you need to hug each other for warmth? Seeing that Qin Feiyang was still hugging Lu Hong, Wolf King's eyes widened as he looked at the two of them strangely. Lu Hong blushed and hurriedly jumped down. In fact, she had already calmed down. It was just that it was rare for her to be so close to Qin Feiyang, so she wanted to stay a little longer. Give me the herbs quickly. Qin Feiyang didn't think so much and turned to walk towards the alchemy room. Wolf King shook his head and said, "We didn't buy the herbs." Huh. Qin Feiyang stopped in his tracks and turned to look at Wolf King and Huang San in confusion. Wolf King said, "The deacon elder in the resource hall said that there are no herbs for the marrow cleansing pill." Huang San added, "I can guarantee with my head that there are." Then why didn't he sell it? Wolf King said angrily, "Brother Wolf, you still don't know. That elder Lu is called Luan. He's also a member of the Lu family." Huang San smiled bitterly. Wolf King said in surprise, "You mean the Lu family is behind this?" "Most likely." Huang San nodded. Wolf King said, "But the news of Xiao Hong being crippled hasn't spread yet." "I don't understand." Huang San shook his head. Lu Hong frowned and said, "They dare to do whatever they want in the Divine Hall. Is the Lu family really so powerful?" Huang San panicked and whispered, "Senior sister, you can't underestimate the Lu family. They are far more powerful than you think." "So what if they are powerful?" Wolf King sneered and looked at Qin Feiyang. "Little Qin Zi, this matter can't end like this. They must pay the price. We'll talk about this later. Since we don't have the resources, let's go to the treasure pavilion." "Lu Hong, give me the 2 portals," Qin Feiyang said. Lu Hong said, "No need to go through so much trouble. Just call Fatso over. He must have them." Qin Feiyang shook his head and said, "Fatso's matter is also very important. Don't distract him." "Who is Fatso?" Huang San muttered. "All right." Lu Hong took out the 2 portals and handed them to Qin Feiyang. She bought a total of 5 portals in the treasure pavilion in the morning. She used 2 to go to the Sea of Despair. She used another one when she was surrounded by the Lu family in the East City. Now, she couldn't keep the last 2. In other words, 500 million gold coins were gone just like that. Qin Feiyang didn't feel the slightest bit of heartache. He looked at Huang San and said, "I have a feeling that this matter has something to do with Lu Ziyuan and the other 2. Go and help me investigate. If you do this, you'll be rewarded." "Okay." Huang San was overjoyed at the unexpected good news and immediately ran out. "Lu Ziyuan, if it's really you, I'll make sure you die miserably." Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed coldly. He waved his hand, opened a portal, and strode in. The next moment, he directly appeared in the reception hall of the treasure pavilion. At this moment, the treasure pavilion had long been closed. There was only one woman in the reception hall. She was burying her head and tidying something. She was Qin Die. Qin Feiyang said, "Qin Die? Who?" Qin Die was shocked. When she saw that it was Qin Feiyang, she couldn't help but frown and said, "How did you get in?" Qin Feiyang said, "I teleported in." Qin Die glanced at the corridor on both sides and said, "You're too bold. Hurry up and get out. If the guards see you, they'll arrest you as a thief." Qin Feiyang said, "I'm here to buy ingredients for the marrow cleansing elixir." Qin Die's eyes flashed with an inexplicable light. She shook her head and said, "I can't sell it to you." "Not selling?" Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows and asked, "Why?" The treasure pavilion actually refused to do business? What did she mean? Qin Die shook her head and said, "I don't know why. It's Steward Yin's order. You'd better leave quickly." Qin Feiyang asked, "When was that?" Qin Die said, "Just before you came." Qin Feiyang immediately understood what was going on. He pursed his lips into a cold smile and didn't stay any longer. He opened the portal and directly returned to the alchemy room. Chapter 318. You're back so soon? Wolf King and Lu Hong were stunned. Wolf King sized up Qin Feiyang and said, "Why do you look so weird?" Qin Feiyang said, "Zhanbao Pavilion won't sell me any herbs either." "How is that possible?" A man and a wolf were shocked. Qin Feiyang said, "Qin Die told me personally. It can't be fake." Lu Hong said, "Why would they do that? You're a supreme alchemist. Doesn't the Lu clan have a supreme alchemist too?" Qin Feiyong sneered. Although Qin Die didn't say it explicitly, the timing was too coincidental. The Lu clan was definitely behind all of this. Only the Lu clan had the ability to persuade Jinbao Pavilion not to sell him any herbs. Wolf King said angrily, "Damn, the Lu clan is really something. They can even bribe Jinbao Pavilion. Let's go and find the mansion master now." Lu Hong's heart skipped a beat. If the mansion master was willing to step in, not only would the current situation be resolved easily, the Lu clan wouldn't dare to scheme against them in the future. "Have you forgotten? The mansion master said that he won't give us any help. Plus, he doesn't need to step in for such a small matter. Since the Lu clan wants to play, I'll play with them." Qin Feiyong sneered. Seeing that he was confident, Wolf King and Lu Hong didn't say anything else. Qin Feiyong took out an image crystal and activated it. Soon, Fatso's shadow appeared. "It's true that one day apart feels like 3 years. Boss, what's the matter with Fat Lord?" Fatso chuckled. Qin Feiyong said, "Quickly organize and see if there are any herbs for the marrow cleansing pill." "What?" Fatso's eyes widened and he asked in surprise, "Why do you want the marrow cleansing pill?" "This thing could only be used by people who consumed the spiritual disaster pill." Qin Feiyong said, "Don't talk nonsense. Hurry up and find them." "Oh." Fatso took out his Chinkuan bag and searched for a while before nodding. "Yes. All right." Qin Feiyong was overjoyed and said, "Prepare a copy immediately and send it to the Holy Hall, but don't enter the Holy Hall. I'll have Wolf King wait for you at the bottom of the stone stairs. By the way, prepare some herbs for the body tempering pill and chi gathering pill for me as well." He added, "Yes." Fatso nodded and turned off the image crystal. "Haha, do they think that by bribing the treasure pavilion and sealing off the resource hall, we won't be able to find the medicinal herbs? How naive. We have a moving treasure trove of medicinal herbs." Wolf King laughed loudly, his eyes filled with mockery. Qin Feiyong said, "Stop laughing. Hurry up and go. Don't let anyone find out. Also, don't tell Fatso about Lu Hong. Leave it to me." Wolf King stood up and patted his chest. He turned into a palm-sized small beast and left quickly. Not long after, Huang San came to the elixir refinement room and said in a low voice, "Senior Brother Qin, I heard some news." "What news?" Qin Feiyong frowned. "I chatted with Elder D for a while. After asking around, I found out that Lu Ziyuan suddenly had a stomachache after you and senior sister Lu Hong returned. He even went to the toilet." Huang San said. Lu Hong asked, "Who's Elder D?" Huang San said, "The deacon elder who was guarding the door." "A 7 stars battle monarch would have a stomachache?" Qin Feiyong sneered. He was already certain that Lu Ziyuan and the other two were behind it. The timing was too coincidental. He took out a few hundred supreme-grade chi gathering pills and handed them to Huang San. He said with a smile, "Help me find out more about Zheng Chuan and Lu Zhu." "No problem." Huang San was overjoyed. He put away the pills and left quickly. Lu Hong shook her head and said, "I was a little dissatisfied when you pleaded for him. I didn't expect him to save me in the end." Qin Feiyong smiled and took out the fire phoenix. He placed it in her hand and said, "Keep it well. If it wasn't for it this time, you would be finished." "Yes." Lu Hong sighed deeply and tied the fire phoenix around her neck again. Qin Feiyong said, "See if your potential imprint is still there." Lu Hong turned around and opened her clothes. She said in surprise, "It's still there? Then don't worry. Although your cultivation is crippled now, your foundation and potential imprint are still there. In addition, I can now refine supreme-grade pills with 2 pill patterns. I believe that soon, you will be able to recover your cultivation." Qin Feiyong comforted. Lu Hong's current conditions were too good. The speed of her recultivation would definitely far surpass him in the past. "I'm not worried at all." Lu Hong shook her head and smiled. Her eyes flashed with an inexplicable brilliance. Qin Feiyong smiled, turned, and walked into the alchemy room. He took out a red fire-colored glass pill's medicinal materials. He opened the furnace to refine the pill. Soon, the pill was out of the furnace. There were 2 dazzling pill patterns on it. Lu Hong walked up and looked at it curiously. She asked, "Do you think this pill can raise one's cultivation by 3 small realms?" "I don't know either. When Huang San comes back, I'll test it on him. If it can really raise one's cultivation by 3 small realms, I guarantee that Treasure Pavilion will regret today's decision." Qin Feiyong snorted coldly. Lu Hong pursed her lips and smiled. "Even if it can't raise one's cultivation by 3 small realms, they will still regret it when they know that you can refine supreme-grade pills with 2 pill patterns. The good show is yet to come. Give me the medicinal materials for the battle chi pill," Qin Feiyong said. Lu Hong took out a chinkuan bag from her arms and said, "There are also a few sets of clothes for the disciples of the Knights Templar." Qin Feiyong nodded and said, "Don't run around. I'll take a closer look at the alchemy scripture." After that, he entered the castle. The look in Lu Hong's eyes also gradually changed. "I know that a woman like me will never be good enough for you. I have never desired anything. I only hope that I can stay by your side for the rest of my life. I will be satisfied to see you every day," she muttered to herself in her heart. In the castle, Qin Feiyong lowered his head and carefully looked at the refining methods of the battle chi pill and the marrow cleansing pill. After memorizing everything, he looked at all the pill formulas on the second page one by one. Last time, because the Black Wing King and the others wanted to rebel, the situation was urgent, so he didn't look at it carefully. He didn't know if he didn't look, but after looking, his eyes revealed a hint of surprise. On the second page, there were a total of 26 pill formulas. Basically, he knew all of them, but it was the first time he had heard of the last 2 pills. One was called the Juku Yellow Dragon Pill. The other was called the Potential Pill. After glancing at the names of the 2 pills, he couldn't wait to look at the annotations below. Gradually, his eyes burst out with a ray of light. Moreover, as time passed, the light became brighter and brighter. In the end, his dark eyes shone like 2 bright moons. Even his body was trembling. He was excited. Phew! After a long time, he withdrew his gaze and closed the alchemy scripture. Then, he let out a long breath and calmed the excitement in his heart. The Juku Yellow Dragon Pill was similar to the Scarlet Fire Glass Pill. It could increase one's realm by a small level. The difference was, the Scarlet Fire Glass Pill was only effective for martial artists, and martial artists. But the Juku Yellow Dragon Pill could increase one's realm by a small level. As far as he knew, even the Imperial Palace didn't have this kind of pill. As for the Potential Pill, it was even more amazing. It was the upgraded version of the Potential Pill. That's right. The Potential Pill could open the 4th and 5th level of the Gate of Potential. That was the ultimate realm of the War King and the ultimate realm of the War Emperor. According to the alchemy scripture, the Potential Pill could no longer open the 4th and 5th level. However, there were a total of 44 kinds of medicinal herbs for the Potential Pill, which was 11 more than the Potential Pill, and each of them was very precious. However, in the spirit state, where there were many outstanding people, medicinal herbs were definitely not a problem. After dealing with the current matters, the first task was to sweep the medicinal herbs. Thinking about it, Qin Feiyong couldn't help but smile bitterly. Originally, he thought that the Potential Pill could open all the gates of potential, so he sent a total of 5 to the Mermaid Princess. Only now did he realize that he had made a big joke. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something, took out the image crystal, and quickly activated it. After more than 10 breaths, a shadow condensed. "Aya, what kind of wind is blowing tonight?" Boss Qin actually came to me. It was Steward Li Ji. No, he was now the chief pavilion master of the Yin County, so he should be called Pavilion Master Li. Qin Feiyong smiled bitterly and said, "Senior, you're already so old, can you not be so sarcastic every time?" Li Ji shook his head and smiled. Okay, this old man will be serious. Have you arrived at the state capital now?" Qin Feiyong said, "I arrived a few days ago." "So fast?" Li Ji was stunned and said with a teasing tone, "Those who enter the state capital are all big shots. Mr. Qin, is there something you need from me?" Qin Feiyong rolled his eyes. He was truly old and frivolous, but he liked to deal with such people. They didn't put on airs and were amiable. Everything was negotiable. Qin Feiyong said, "I want to ask, Have you reported the 33 herbs of the potential pill to the state capital? It turned out to be because of this. Well, we are all old acquaintances, so I won't hide it from you. I have reported it to the state capital. But you have to understand me. I'm just a small figure. If the people in the state capital want to know, I dare not tell them. If this matter has caused you trouble, I can only say sorry, Li Ji said. Qin Feiyang frowned. Originally, he was also preparing to sweep the herbs of the potential pill. Although the potential pill was meaningless to him, he could still sell it for money. And it could definitely be auctioned at a sky-high price. But now it seemed that it was obviously not feasible. There is no trouble. I just lost some gold coins. It doesn't matter. Qin Feiyang smiled and asked, Aunt Shui, Lu Ji, Linny, and the others, how are they? Madam is fine now. I let her stay in the treasure pavilion in Yin City and take over my previous position to help me manage the accounts. Lu Ji was also brought to Yin City by Elder Wan and settled in the Martial Emperor Hall. As for Linny, that little girl is also in the Martial Emperor Hall in Yin City. But when she learned that you left her and went to the state capital alone, she seemed to be very sad. Look at you, you stinking brat. Everyone else is trying their best to climb onto women, but you're trying your best to push them away. I can't help but wonder if you are incompetent in that aspect. Li Ji looked at Qin Feiyang strangely. Incompetent? Qin Feiyang smiled bitterly. This old man is really disrespectful. Chapter 319. At that moment, Qin Feiyang told Lu Hong about the potential elixir and Juku Yellow Dragon elixir. Lu Hong was also so shocked that she could not close her mouth. After a long while, she came back to her senses and said with a smile, Now you're more confident. Qin Feiyang shook his head. I won't show you these two elixirs unless it's a critical moment. Lu Hong thought for a while and said, Indeed. It's best to use them as a trump card. Qin Feiyang said, Go to the lounge and have a good rest. I'll call you when I'm done refining the marrow-cleansing elixir. Lu Hong nodded and turned to walk into the lounge. Qin Feiyang also entered the alchemy room and began refining the battle chi elixir. After a full 4 hours, Wolf King finally ran into the alchemy room, panting. What took you so long? Qin Feiyang was puzzled. It took so long? It's easy for you to say that. The Pill Fire Palace is hundreds of miles away from the gate. This time, I didn't even stop for a moment. Wolf King glared at him fiercely and threw a Chinquin bag over. Qin Feiyang was stunned. He caught the Chinquin bag and could not help but shake his head and laugh. The Divine Palace was indeed too big. If one could not fly and did not have a teleportation door, it would be troublesome to even go out. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something. He glanced at Lu Hong in the lounge and said in a low voice, White-eyed wolf, don't you think it's strange? What's strange? Wolf King was somewhat baffled. The Mermaid Emperor said that if I get intimate with another woman, the concentric knot will react and even my heart will explode. But I've hugged Lu Hong for so long and I didn't see any abnormalities. Qin Feiyang was puzzled. Are you an idiot? Hugging is called being intimate. Let me teach you. Being intimate means taking off all your clothes, hugging each other, mouth to mouth, bottom to bottom, understand? Wolf King's eyes were filled with disdain. Ugh. Qin Feiyang was stunned. I can't be bothered to talk nonsense with a fool like you. I'm going to rest. Wolf King waved its claws and turned to run towards the lounge. It's looking down on me again. Qin Feiyang's face twitched, and he looked at Wolf King unhappily. No. How did it know so clearly? Could it be that he had spied on someone doing something? I'll have to interrogate this scoundrel properly some other day. He mumbled to himself as he took out the ingredients for the marrow-cleansing pill. It took him 100 breaths to finally refine it. After waking Lu Hong up and waiting for her to consume the medicine, Qin Feiyang sent her into the castle so that she could concentrate on her cultivation. That night, Qin Feiyang was busy in the alchemy room. He refined the body-tempering pill, the chi-gathering pill, and the battle chi pill. It was dawn. Lu Hong's matter also gradually spread in the Divine Temple. Many people didn't know who Lu Hong was. But what Zheng Chuan and Qin Feiyang did undoubtedly aroused public anger. Especially the female disciples, they all felt injustice for Lu Hong. Such scum must not be allowed to live. Otherwise, there might be more women who would be harmed by them in the future. At the same time, the news that Qin Feiyang was a supreme-grade alchemist also spread wildly in the Divine Temple. Many people came because of his reputation, but they were all stopped outside the Pill Fire Hall by Elder Di and Qin Feiyang. Lu Ziyuan and the other two kneeling in the middle of the square naturally became the focus of everyone's discussion. Noon. Huang Sen hurriedly ran up to the 10th floor and knocked on the door of alchemy room number 2. Wolf King opened the stone door and said angrily, "What are you doing? I'm not deaf. Don't you know how to be gentle?" Huang Sen said anxiously, "Brother Wolf, something bad has happened. Where's senior brother Qin? What's the hurry? Come in and tell me." Qin Feiyang walked out of the alchemy room, looking exhausted. Huang San ran into the alchemy room and closed the stone door. "Senior brother Qin, we didn't catch Xing Chuan and Qin Feiyang." "What?" The Wolf King was enraged and shouted, "A dignified temple can't even catch 2 disciples? Are they all useless?" "Calm down," Qin Feiyang growled. He looked at Huang San and asked, "What happened?" Huang San shook his head. "I don't know. We searched the entire Divine Temple and couldn't find them. It's like they've evaporated." "They can't have evaporated." Qin Feiyang shook his head. He lowered his head and pondered for a while. "What did Elder Lu say?" Huang San said, "Elder Lu left the Divine Temple early in the morning. He seemed to be looking for Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei's family." "Family?" Qin Feiyang frowned. "You may not know, but Zheng Chuan and Wang Fei are both disciples of the family. Although they are only small families in the East City, there are many war emperors in the family," Huang San said. "Then is there such a possibility?" After the two escaped last night, the first thing they did was to inform their family. Then, their families used the portal to secretly take them away? Wolf King asked. Huang San's eyes trembled. He nodded and said, "It's possible. After all, with their financial resources, it's not difficult for them to buy a few portals." "Bastard. Little Qinzi, let's go. Let's go find them now," Wolf King said coldly. "Don't be impulsive. I'll send a message to Elder Lu now." Qin Feiyang waved his hand, took out an image crystal, and poured his battle qi into it. After a while, a beautiful woman appeared. Qin Feiyang asked, "Elder Lu, how's the situation?" "I'm on my way back. Go to my place and wait for me." Elder Lu hurriedly replied, and the image dissipated. Huang San said, "It seems that Elder Lu didn't find Zheng Chuan and the others. They can't escape." Qin Feiyang sneered and looked at Huang San. "Don't come to me often in the future, or Lu Ziyuan and the other two won't let you go." "Do you have an image crystal?" "How can a person like me have an image crystal?" Huang San smiled bitterly. Qin Feiyang frowned and said, "What's your cultivation now?" Huang San said, 5-star Martial Grandmaster. Qin Feiyang said, "Have you taken the red fire glass pill?" "No." Huang San shook his head. Qin Feiyang said, "Then open your mouth." "Why should I open my mouth?" Huang San looked at him suspiciously. Qin Feiyang said with a faint smile, "I'll give you a good fortune." "Good fortune?" Huang San was slightly stunned. Was he going to give him the best red fire glass pill? He hurriedly opened his mouth. Qin Feiyang took out the red fire glass pill with 2 veins, and before Huang San could see it clearly, he stuffed it into his mouth like lightning. "It can't be some highly toxic pill, right?" Seeing Qin Feiyang acting so mysteriously, Huang San's eyelids twitched, and he couldn't help but feel uneasy. Boom! After a few breaths, a powerful aura roared out from Huang San's body. "It's really the red fire glass pill." Huang San was extremely excited. His cultivation suddenly soared to 6-star Martial Grandmaster. But the next moment, his aura soared again, and he was 7-star Martial Grandmaster. It soared by 2 small realms. "This is the best red fire glass pill." Huang San was stunned at first, and then he was wild with joy. He bowed and said, "Thank you for your reward, senior brother Qin." Qin Feiyang frowned. Boom. However, the next moment, Huang San's aura erupted again, and he broke through to 8-star Martial Grandmaster. How could this be? It's not the best red fire glass pill? Huang San was stunned. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed, and he waved his hand and said, "Well, you can go. As for this matter, don't mention it to anyone." "Yes," Huang San responded respectfully and walked out of the alchemy room with a head full of doubts. Wolf King snickered. "I'm afraid he's still in the clouds." Qin Feiyang said, "Isn't this normal? Wait for me. I'll refine another one." He entered the alchemy room. Soon, he came out again. "Let's go." The man and the wolf left the alchemy room. After closing the stone door, they jumped and landed steadily at the bottom of the courtyard. When they walked out of the gate of the Pill Fire Hall, they were stunned. Why were there so many people in the square? At a glance, there were hundreds of them. Elder D explained, "They heard that you were a best alchemist, so they came to see you, but we stopped them outside." Qin Feiyang suddenly realized and asked, "Elder, where is Elder Lu's residence?" Elder D said, "Go straight to the left. It's only 2 miles away." "Thank you, Elder." Qin Feiyang cupped his hands. "Look, he's Qin Feiyang. He's finally out. He's quite handsome. Senior brother Qin, can we talk?" For a moment, the place was noisy. "Thank you for your love, but I have important matters to attend to. Forgive me for not being able to accompany you." Qin Feiyang politely cupped his hands and said. After that, he glanced at Lu Ziyuan and the other two and quickly left. Wolf King said telepathically, "Did you notice that the 3 of them are gloating?" Qin Feiyang nodded. There was an independent courtyard next to a lake. The lake was dozens of feet long, and the clear water reflected layers of golden scales under the sunlight. In the lake, there were dark green lotus leaves, blooming lotus flowers, and colorful fish. In the courtyard, hundreds of flowers were in full bloom, and small trees were verdant. Not only was the scenery pleasant, but it was also very peaceful. In the deepest part of the courtyard, there was a 2-story pavilion with carved beams and painted pillars. It was quite grand. That was Elder Lu's residence. Other than the big shots, no disciple was allowed to enter without her permission. A man and a wolf arrived and waited by the lake. About 200 breaths passed. Whoosh! With a burst of sound, Elder Lu landed in front of the courtyard. But there were 2 other people beside her. Both of them were middle-aged and did not wear the uniform of the holy sanctum. There was a bit of dignity between their brows. It seemed that their identities were not small. Qin Feiyang walked up and cupped his hands. "Greetings, Elder Lu. These 2 are?" "They are Wang Fei and Zheng Gang's fathers. Wang Jian, 5th Zheng. The young man in front of you is Qin Feiyang. If you have anything to say, let's make it clear here," Elder Lu said, her face a little ugly. Qin Feiyang narrowed his eyes and looked at Wang Jian and 5th Zheng. At the same time, Wang Jian and 5th Zheng were also sizing up Qin Feiyang. "Qin Feiyang, I'm really sorry. I apologize to you on behalf of Jing Chuan, this unfilial son. This time, we came mainly to visit Lu Hong and compensate you for your losses." Wang Jian and 5th Zheng were the first to break the silence. "Apologize? Compensate?" Chapter 320. You want to settle this with just an apology? Do you really think that I, Qin Feiyang, am a pushover? Little brother, calm down first. We all know that Lu Hong has suffered a lot this time. However, what's done is done. Even if you kill my son, you won't be able to change the situation. Why don't we become friends and turn this into a small matter? If you can give up pursuing the matter, you'll be a guest of honor for both our families. Wang Jian and Wang Wu smiled apologetically. Hearing this, Qin Feiyang couldn't help but laugh in anger. Turn this into a small matter? He really didn't know how these 2 could still have the face to say such a thing. A guest of honor? Are the Wang and Zheng families that great? With his current alchemy skills, as long as he was willing, even the Lu family would immediately put aside their grudges and treat him as a guest of honor. 2 small clans dare to show off here? Seeing the angry smile on Qin Feiyang's face, Wang Jian and Wang Wu frowned slightly. 5th Zheng smiled and said, "Little brother, we came here with sincerity." As he spoke, he took out a Chinkoan bag and said, "There are 100 million gold coins in here. Consider it our Zheng family's compensation to Lu Hong. I also prepared 100 million gold coins. 200 million gold coins should be enough to compensate for Lu Hong's loss. Please accept it. Wang Jian also took out a Qinkuan bag and handed it to Qin Feiyang. What a joke. Lu Hong became a one-star battle king at the age of 18. Do you know how hard she worked? Because of those two beasts who are worse than pigs and dogs, all her years of hard work went down the drain in an instant. If we hadn't arrived in time, not only would they have tainted her innocence, they would have killed her. Is this something that can be solved with money? Qin Feiyang roared angrily and slapped the two men's cosmos bags away. These two people were simply too shameless. Actually, it was understandable that every parent would try to cover up for their children. However, after committing such a big mistake, they still tried to cover it up. That was conniving. Aren't you just trying to extort more money? 300 million? 400 million? 500 million? Name your price. As long as we can afford it, we will satisfy you. The two of them frowned and looked coldly at Qin Feiyang. Fuck, this bro has a bad temper. I've never seen people as shameless as you. Blackmail you? Why don't you fucking look at yourselves in the mirror? As expected, like father, like son. Bitches like you are just wasting air by living. Wolf King roared on the spot, scolding the two of them. Wang Jian and Wang Lin's faces darkened as well. Although they were only the heads of small clans, they were still combat emperors. When had they ever been scolded like this? More importantly, the person who scolded them was an animal. What? Are you unhappy that I scolded you? Wolf King looked at them provocatively. A cold light flashed in their eyes. Suppressing the anger in their hearts, they looked at Qin Feiyang and said, Don't talk nonsense. Name your price. Again? Wolf King gritted his teeth. All right, stop talking. I will deal with it. Qin Feiyang stopped Wolf King and looked at Wang Jian and Wang Lin. The arrogant attitude of these two people had completely infuriated him. Do you have a lot of gold coins? Do you really think that gold coins can solve everything? All right, I will give you 1 billion each to buy the heads of those two animals. Qin Feiyang laughed. Don't go too far. Wang Jian and Wang Lin said angrily. Not enough? All right, 2 billion each. Is that enough? If it's not enough, 3 billion, 5 billion, 10 billion each. Is that enough? Qin Feiyang shouted sternly. Wang Jian and Wang Lin's faces were extremely gloomy. I can only say that you are too stupid. Don't you think that a top-grade alchemist is short of money? If you continue to talk about money, I will smash you to death with gold coins. In my heart, Lu Hong is not something that can be measured with gold coins. There's no room for negotiation. Send those two animals to me. I will kill them. Qin Feiyang said. Wang Jian said, We don't know where they are either. Fifth Jing added, They didn't go home. Maybe they know that they are in trouble and ran somewhere to hide. Qin Feiyang said, As their father, you can't even find them. Aren't you too useless? Wang Jian frowned and said, Young man, you can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want. Elder Lu has already searched my house. She can testify. Qin Feiyang said with a smile, If you hide them, Elder Lu won't be able to find them even if she has 3 heads and 6 arms, right? The two were furious. They turned to look at Lu Yun and said, Elder Lu with his attitude, How can we talk like this? Qin Feiyang said, Then let's not talk. All right, you said it. We don't want to stick our warm faces to your cold buttocks. Elder Lu, farewell. The two cupped their hands, picked up the universe bag, and soared into the sky. Qin Feiyang looked up at the two and said, Listen up. If you don't bring those two animals to me before dark, I guarantee that you will regret it for the rest of your lives. All right, then I'll wait and see. The two of them laughed coldly, turned around, and flew away without looking back. Lu Yun frowned and looked at Qin Feiyang. This matter, Elder, there's no need to say anything. Because I don't expect the Divine Temple to help me do anything. I'll be returning first. Qin Feiyang said indifferently and strode away with Wolf King. Wolf King sent a voice transmission. Little Qin Zi, have you thought of a solution? Qin Feiyang said, Don't worry, Wang Jian and the others will come and beg me soon. Wolf King said, Then where are we going now? Treasure Pavilion. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. 2 hours later. A white-clothed youth with a sickly look walked into the square outside the reception hall. He glanced at the reception hall, strode to the stone stairs, and walked down. It was Qin Feiyang in disguise. As for Wolf King, he had turned into the size of a baby's palm and was hiding in his arms. Qin Feiyang scanned the crowd below as he walked. Everything was the same. On the stone stairs, hundreds of people were working hard to climb up, dreaming of becoming a disciple of the Divine Temple. Before entering the Divine Temple, Qin Feiyang also yearned for it. But now, he realized that the Divine Temple was not worth yearning for at all. On both sides of the stone stairs, there were still two groups of people gathered together to gamble. Further away, there were figures standing at various intersections. They seemed to be chatting, but their eyes were extremely sharp, and from time to time, they would glance towards the entrance of the Divine Temple. Qin Feiyang walked down the stone stairs and sped along the street. At the same time, secretly observing those people. Those people also looked at him one after another, and all of them had a kind of scrutinizing gaze. Qin Feiyang's heart trembled. These people were dressed very plainly, but the temperament they exuded was very outstanding. Moreover, every one of them could give him a deep sense of danger. Without a doubt, these people were not simple. Qin Feiyang also had a very real premonition that these people were most likely coming for him. And the reason why he disguised himself was because he was worried that someone would be waiting outside. Now it seemed that the disguise was indeed wise. When Qin Feiyang arrived at the treasure pavilion in the East City, it was already the next morning. Early in the morning, there were countless people coming in and out. Qin Feiyang stood on the street in front of the entrance, looking inside expressionlessly. At first, it was nothing, but as time passed, the two guards guarding the door could not help but frown. What did this person mean? Standing there motionless and not saying a word, was he looking for trouble? One of them walked in front of Qin Feiyang and cupped his hands. Is there anything I can do for you? Qin Feiyang was now wearing the uniform of a Divine Temple disciple, and no matter where a Divine Temple disciple went, they would be respected, especially an alchemist. But Qin Feiyang did not make a sound. He did not even look at the guard. The guard said helplessly, "Little brother, if you want to buy something, can you just go in directly?" Qin Feiyang looked up at the horizon. The sun had already risen, and the sunlight illuminated the mountains and rivers. "It's time," he muttered secretly, looked down at the guard and said lightly, "I'm not buying anything, I'm looking for someone." The guard said, "Then who are you looking for?" Qin Feiyang said, "In Yuanming." The guard hesitated. This person was too strange. He did not dare to make a decision on his own. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly, took out a facial restoration pill, threw it into his mouth, and quickly recovered his true appearance. "It's you." The two guards could not help but change their expressions. The people going in and out also stopped in unison and looked at him in bewilderment. "It seems that you have a deep impression of me." Qin Feiyang glanced at the crowd and said lightly, "There should be people from the Liu family here, right? Hurry up and inform your patriarch that I, Qin Feiyang, have come to East City." And brother, Wolf King came out of Qin Feiyang's clothes and stood on his shoulder proudly. "What? Are they openly provoking the Liu family? Why are they so confident? A Divine Temple disciple? An alchemist?" The people were very surprised. As long as this man and Wolf came to East City was destined to not be peaceful. Someone in the crowd took out a video crystal to inform the Liu family. Qin Feiyang did not stop him. At this moment, Qin Die walked out of the treasure pavilion and came to Qin Feiyang with a frown. She whispered, "Why are you here again? Why are you so high profile?" "I have to be high profile when I need to be." Qin Feiyang took out a jade box and said, "I'll have to trouble you to deliver this jade box to In Yuanming." "What is it?" Qin Die was confused and was about to open it. Qin Feiyang grabbed her wrist and shook his head. "You can't see it. Only In Yuanming can see it." Qin Die shook her head. "Don't waste your time. No matter what you give, no matter how much you suck up to him, the steward will not give you the ingredients for the marrow-cleansing pill." Qin Feiyang said, "Just do as I say. Who knows, he might even reward you when the time comes." Qin Die looked at him suspiciously and nodded. "Okay, I'll send it to the steward now. But don't mess around here. She warned him, then turned and ran inside. Qin Feiyang raised the corner of his mouth. Chapter 321. Whoosh! After a few seconds, a group of people flew across the sky like lightning and landed in front of Qin Feiyang. The leader was Steward Lu. Surround him. Steward Lu waved his hand, and the group of men in black immediately surrounded Qin Feiyang. They came so fast. He won't be able to escape this time. It's all his fault for being so high profile. If he can continue to disguise himself, he won't be discovered. The crowd discussed in low voices. Steward Lu glanced at the man and wolf and said lightly, Qin Feiyang, ruffian wolf, I won't give you a chance to slip away this time, please. Qin Feiyang asked, Where are we going? Steward Lu said with a smile, Do you still need to ask? Of course, we're going to visit the Lu family. Qin Feiyang laughed, I want to go, but I don't think someone will let me. I'd like to see who has the guts. Steward Lu glanced around, and everyone lowered their heads, not daring to look at him directly. Steward Lu smiled in disdain and said to Qin Feiyang, Did you see that? No one in the eastern city dares to go against the Lu family. Clap! Qin Feiyang clapped his hands and laughed. Amazing. It seems that the Lu family is not only able to do whatever they want in the Holy Palace, but also in the eastern city. Steward Lu narrowed his eyes and said, Young man, you can't talk nonsense. Lu Ziyuan and Lu En are in the Holy Palace, controlling the Resource Palace and deceiving everyone. The Lu family even asked the Treasure Pavilion to ban me. Am I talking nonsense? Qin Feiyang smirked. The crowd was shocked. The Lu family actually banned Qin Feiyang. Wasn't that too much? However, everyone in the city and even the entire spiritual state knew what the Lu family was like. But because of the Lu family's power, no one dared to talk behind their back. But this man and wolf actually said it in public and in front of Steward Lu? What did they rely on to be so unbridled? Steward Lu's face darkened as he shouted, Take them down! Stop! At this moment, someone shouted, and a white-haired old man hurriedly ran out of the precious treasure pavilion. It was none other than the manager of the Eastern City Treasure Pavilion, In Yuanming. Qin Die followed In Yuanming. Seeing this, Qin Feiyang and the Wolf King looked at each other, and a hint of ridicule crept into their eyes. Steward Lu was slightly stunned. He turned to look at In Yuanming and frowned. Steward In, why are you doing this? In Yuanming landed beside the man and wolf and said, Qin Feiyang and the others are my Treasure Pavilion's honored guests. No one can take them away. The crowd was shocked. Just now, Qin Feiyang had personally admitted that Zhanbao Pavilion was banning him. But why did In Yuanming's attitude suddenly change? Could it be related to that jade box? If that was really the case, then what kind of treasure was hidden within the jade box? What could make Zhanbao Pavilion change their mind at the expense of offending the Lu family? Steward Lu and the group of men in black were also in disbelief. Qin Feiyang laughed. Steward Lu, didn't I say that someone would disagree? But you didn't believe me. What about now? Tell me, are you going to kill me on the street now? Steward Lu glanced at the man and wolf, and then looked at In Yuanming. Steward In, I need an explanation. What a joke. Do we need to explain to the Lu family when we do things? Do you really think you can do whatever you want in the Eastern City? Get out of here. In Yuanming shouted. What a tough attitude. The crowd couldn't believe it. Let's go. Steward Lu waved his hand and led the group of men in black away. Old man, go back and tell Lu Tingting that I'm not interested in her. Don't come looking for me. Wolf King stood on Qin Feiyang's shoulder, waving his paws and laughing. Crack. Steward Lu clenched his hands and looked back at Wolf King. The killing intent in his eyes was undisguised. The show has just begun. Qin Feiyang pursed his lips and sneered. In Yuanming retracted his gaze and looked at Qin Feiyang with a smile. Brother Qin, please come in and talk. Wolf King said, We're not going in. In Yuanming was slightly taken aback. He smiled bitterly and said, Actually, this old master was only acting on orders to ban you. Please forgive me. That's not what I'm talking about. Wolf King stretched out his paw and pointed at the two guards at the door. It's not that I don't want to go in, but they won't let me in. The two guards' eyes trembled. They had already expected that this ruffian wolf would deliberately make things difficult for them. In Yuanming said angrily, "How dare you? Is that true? Do you think I'll lie? The last time I came, they wouldn't let me in no matter what I said." Wolf King looked at the two guards proudly. "Steward, that's true. But we're also thinking for Treasure Pavilion. Because it's too reckless, we don't dare to let it in." The two guards hurried forward to explain. In Yuanming's face twitched. He had long heard of the ruffian wolf's deeds. He actually supported the two guards and did the right thing. But the situation was different now. This man and wolf were big investors. They couldn't offend them. Ahem. In Yuanming coughed dryly and shouted, "Everyone is a guest. Aren't you ruining the reputation of Treasure Pavilion by doing this? Apologize to it immediately." "Master Wolf, I'm really sorry. We were blind. Please don't argue with us, Master Wolf." The two guards bowed. The Wolf King leaped down and shouted, "Clear the path ahead." "Okay, everyone make way." The two guards turned around and waved to the crowd in front of them. When they came to the gate, Wolf King stopped and looked up at the two guards unhappily. "Yes, yes." The two guards nodded and stood on both sides of the gate. They bowed and said, "Master Wolf, please come in." "That's more like it. Next time, wipe your eyes better." The Wolf King smiled proudly and strode into the precious treasure pavilion with his chest puffed out. That smug look on his face made the people around him roll their eyes. "You're really something." In Yuanming mumbled and said with a smile, "Brother Qin, please come in." "Please." Qin Feiyong smiled faintly. Qin Day followed him and asked in a low voice, "Qin Feiyong, what's in your jade box?" At the beginning, when she handed the jade box to In Yuanming and heard that it was from Qin Feiyong, In Yuanming didn't want it. But when he opened the jade box, In Yuanming immediately jumped up, and his attitude changed 180 degrees in an instant. Without a doubt, there must be some treasure in the jade box. Qin Feiyong said, "Didn't you see it?" Qin Day whispered, "I wanted to see it, but Steward In didn't let me." Qin Feiyong said, "Then don't ask. You'll know sooner or later anyway." Qin Day pouted and was a little dissatisfied. After a while, they came to the third floor and entered a VIP room. In Yuanming said with a smile, "Day, go and make a pot of good tea. Remember to use the best tea leaves. I have to treat Brother Qin well." "Okay." Qin Day nodded and turned to leave. In Yuanming pointed to the chair next to him and said with a smile, "Brother Qin, please sit." Qin Feiyong didn't stand on ceremony. He sat down and said lightly, "Steward In, I didn't mention anything outside just now. I gave you enough face." "Yes, yes, yes." In Yuanming nodded and smiled awkwardly. "I admire Brother Qin's way of dealing with things." Qin Feiyong said, "Then let's not beat around the bush. Did the Liu family ask you not to sell the herbs to me?" In Yuanming pondered for a moment and sighed deeply. He nodded and said, "Yes, it's the Liu family head's request. But we have our difficulties too." "I understand. There are two supreme alchemists in the city. One is Murong Jing, the other is Lu Xingchen. Murong Jing keeps a low profile and never refines pills to outsiders. So you can only look for Lu Xingchen," Qin Feiyong said. In Yuanming looked at him in a daze and shook his head with a smile. Brother Qin is indeed unparalleled. At this moment, Qin Die came in with a pot of fragrant tea. In Yuanming waved his hand and said, "Die, you can leave first." After Qin Die left, In Yuanming picked up the teapot and poured tea for Qin Feiyong. He sighed and said, "Although the Liu family's old ancestor is the city lord of East City, he wasn't very powerful before. Then why did it become like this now?" Qin Feiyong frowned. "It's because of Lu Xingchen. I believe you know the value of a supreme alchemist. The more people look for them, the more arrogant they become. Now, even if the treasure pavilion asks him to refine pills, it depends on his mood." In Yuanming shook his head with a trace of helplessness on his old face. Then, In Yuanming pushed the teacup in front of Qin Feiyong and said with a smile, "Brother Qin, please have some tea. Ruffian Wolf, do you want to try it too?" "Not interested." Wolf King didn't care and smiled, "But if there's wine, I can consider it." Uh, In Yuanming was stunned and said jokingly, I heard that last time you went to the Lu family to peep on Lu Tingting taking a bath because you drank too much. Wolf King said angrily, don't talk nonsense. I'm not a peeping Tom. I just happened to bump into her and took a few more glances. To be honest, her figure is not that good. In Yuanming shook his head and laughed. If the Lu family's patriarch heard this, he would be so angry that he would jump on the spot. Qin Feiyong picked up the teacup and took a sip. It was very mellow, but it was not the taste he liked. However, he still tasted it slowly and didn't say a word about the pill. In Yuanming didn't mention it either. Both of them were waiting for the other to speak, because the one who spoke first would be in a passive situation. Gradually, In Yuanming finally lost his patience. He took out the jade box and said with a smile, Brother Qin, did you refine this supreme grade red fire-colored glass pill? Qin Feiyong said with a smile, who knows? In Yuanming felt bitter in his heart. Although this kid was young, he was cunning, because it was obvious that Qin Feiyong wanted him to show his sincerity first. After a moment of silence, Chapter 322. Qin Feiyong was waiting for this sentence. He put down the teacup and said word by word, shut down the Wang and Zheng families. Don't sell them a single healing pill or an ordinary weapon. The Wang family? The Zheng family? In Yuanming looked suspicious. Qin Feiyong said, Wang Jian and Zheng Wu? So it's them. In Yuanming suddenly realized and asked, you want to shut them out to avenge your maid? Qin Feiyong raised his eyebrows and shook his head. Lu Hong is not my maid. She's my friend. Friend? In Yuanming was stunned and smiled apologetically. Sorry. It's okay. Qin Feiyong waved his hand. In Yuanming said, it's not a problem to shut them out, but I want to know how much benefit Brother Qin can bring to the treasure pavilion. Qin Feiyong grabbed the jade box and took out the red fire glass pill. The two dazzling pill patterns made In Yuanming's old eyes shine. Qin Feiyong played with the pill and said with a smile, this pill is indeed made by me. I've tested it and found that it can increase one's cultivation by 3 small realms. In Yuanming stood up with shock in his eyes. Qin Feiyong smiled. Managerine, now I want to ask you, how much benefit do you think I can bring to the treasure pavilion? If you can make 100 pills for us every month, I promise that the treasure pavilion will shut down the Wang and Zheng families. Listen, it's a total ban, including the entire spiritual state and all the cities. 100 pills? Managerine, you're really greedy. At most 10 pills a month, and the treasure pavilion will provide the herbs. We'll split the profits 50-50. This is the old rule of my alchemy. Of course, if you can help me shut down the Lu family, then it's a different story. Qin Feiyong smiled. Shut down the Lu family. In Yuanming's gaze trembled. This young man was really not afraid of trouble. Qin Feiyong smiled faintly and said, I wonder if Steward In has heard of the potential pill? What's a potential pill? In Yuanming asked with a trace of doubt on his face. This time, it was Qin Feiyong who was somewhat confused. Hadn't Li Ji already told Wang Hong about the medicinal ingredients for the potential pill? Why didn't In Yuanming know about it? Suddenly, he thought of one possibility. Could it be that Wang Hong didn't say it out loud? If that was the case, wouldn't he be able to make a fortune? With this thought in mind, Qin Feiyong raised his head and glanced at the VIP room. There was a desk next to it. He got up and walked to the desk, found a piece of white paper, and started writing. Very soon, a list of items was written out. They were the ingredients for the potential pill. However, he was in the mood and only wrote down the names of a dozen medicinal herbs. Furthermore, the most precious 9 suns flower, snow crystal, and fire ginseng were not included. Qin Feiyong grabbed the list, walked to the side of the tea table, handed it to In Yuanming, and said with a smile, take a look. In Yuanming looked at him suspiciously, took the list, and lowered his head to look at it carefully. Gradually, In Yuanming's eyes were even more confused. He raised his head to look at Qin Feiyong and asked, what kind of pill is this? Interesting. Qin Feiyong couldn't help laughing secretly. Wang Hong really didn't say. But why didn't he say such an important thing? It seemed that he had to find time to ask Ren Wushuang. Temporarily putting aside his doubts, Qin Feiyang took back the list and said with a faint smile, "This is indeed a medicinal ingredient for a kind of pill. As for what kind of pill it is, we'll talk about it later." Yin Yuanming asked suspiciously, "What's the potential pill?" Qin Feiyang said, "We'll talk about it later. Help me block the Wang family and the Zheng family first. In the future, I'll help Treasure Pavilion refine 10 red fire-colored glass pills with 2 patterns every month." "Isn't this too little?" Yin Yuanming frowned. "Is it too little? Steward Yin, you should know that things are precious when they're rare. Think about it and give me an answer as soon as possible." "Of course. If we can enter into a deep cooperation, I can guarantee that I'll definitely bring a lot of surprises to Treasure Pavilion in the future." Qin Feiyang smiled meaningfully. "Surprises?" Yin Yuanming was even more puzzled. He looked at him deeply and said with a smile, "Well, don't be in a hurry to leave. Wait a moment. I'll go and ask the Chief Pavilion Master." "Okay." Qin Feiyang nodded. "What about this red fire-colored glass pill?" Yin Yuanming looked at the jade box again, his eyes full of desire. Qin Feiyang said with a smile, "Take it as a gift for the Chief Pavilion Master. Brother Qin is really a forthright person." Yin Yuanming was overjoyed. He grabbed the jade box and shouted, "Jie, come in and help me entertain Brother Qin." "Yes." Qin Jie entered the VIP room and answered respectfully, "Excuse me for a moment." Yin Yuanming said with a smile and left in a hurry. Qin Jie suspiciously watched Yin Yuanming leave, then turned to Qin Feiyang. "This is the first time I've seen Steward Yin treat a young man so politely. What kind of soup did you feed him?" She was very curious. She finally realized that she had greatly underestimated this person when they first met. "Soup?" Qin Feiyang couldn't help but shake his head and laugh. For a businessman, profit was more important than anything else. Without profit, even if you really arranged a few women to do it, it wouldn't work, let alone soup. Qin Feiyang said, "I need 10 portals and an image crystal. Get it for me." "Okay." Qin Jie nodded and left quickly. Qin Feiyang immediately took out the image crystal and injected his genuine qi into it. A shadow quickly appeared. It was Ren Wushuang. He immediately said, "I've heard about Lu Hong. Is she all right?" Qin Feiyang said, "She's fine now." "Sister, I want to ask why Wang Hong didn't tell anyone about the ingredients for the potential pill?" Ren Wushuang said, "This is grandfather's order. He didn't say anything about you." Qin Feiyang suddenly understood and said, "What about Lu Xingchen? When you talked to him last time, he seemed to have seen me." Ren Wushuang said disdainfully, "With his arrogant character, even if he saw you, he wouldn't remember you." Qin Feiyang chuckled. "Sister, no matter what, he's still your suitor. It's not good for you to say that, is it?" Ren Wushuang's face darkened. He said angrily, "How dare you make fun of your sister? Are you itching for a beating?" Qin Feiyang hurriedly waved his hand and said, "I wouldn't dare. I'm just telling the truth." Ren Wushuang rolled his eyes at him and sighed. "I'll be honest with you. Grandfather wanted me to go to the inner hall a long time ago. It's because of that Lu Xingchen that I kept delaying it." Qin Feiyang frowned. It seemed that Ren Wushuang really hated Lu Xingchen. Dud. A series of steady footsteps sounded. "Sister, I still have something to deal with. Let me check the time later. If I'm free, I'll go and see you." After saying that, Qin Feiyang put away the image crystal. Almost at the next moment, Yin Yuanming walked into the VIP room and said with a smile, "Brother Qin, the Chief Pavilion Master has agreed to cooperate with you." The Chief Pavilion Master also said, "It's not impossible to ban the Lu family. The key is how much profit Brother Qin can bring to the Treasure Pavilion." Yin Yuanming added. Qin Feiyang said, "Then ban the Wang family and the Zheng family first. We'll talk about the Lu family later." Yin Yuanming immediately took out a Chinkuan bag and said with a smile, "Here are 20 sets of medicinal materials for the red fire glass elixir. Brother Qin, you must refine them as soon as possible." Qin Feiyang took the Chinkuan bag, checked it carefully, and nodded. "Come to the sacred hall tomorrow morning. But I can refine an elixir with 2 elixir patterns. I hope Steward Yin can keep it a secret for the time being." "Keep it a secret?" Yin Yuanming was stunned and frowned. "I can understand keeping it a secret, but the people in the city are not stupid. Even if I don't say it, others will guess it. Previously, he banned Qin Feiyang, but now he banned the Wang family and the Zheng family. Anyone with discerning eyes could see that all this had something to do with Qin Feiyang. When the red fire glass elixir with 2 elixir patterns was auctioned, others would definitely connect the dots. Qin Feiyang said with a smile, "A guess is just a guess, isn't it?" "That's right." Yin Yuanming nodded. As long as Treasure Pavilion denied it, even if people thought of it, they wouldn't be sure. Yin Yuanming said with a smile, "Then let's have a good cooperation." Good cooperation. Qin Feiyang smiled and put away the Qiankuan bag. He wasn't surprised by the chief pavilion master's reply. The Wang family and the Zheng family were just small families. The value of a red fire glass elixir with 2 elixir patterns far exceeded the value of the 2 families. But the Lu family was different. As a super family in the city, and the Lu family's patriarch was the city lord of the East City, Treasure Pavilion had to consider the big picture. After all, it was easy to offend someone, but difficult to repair the relationship. However, Qin Feiyang was confident of winning. Treasure Pavilion couldn't refuse because of his bargaining chip, but now was not the time to show it. After a while, Qin Die returned to the VIP room and gave Qin Feiyang a Qiankuan bag. 10 transmission doors and an image crystal were all in it. After Qin Feiyang paid the gold coins and established a contract with Yin Yuanming, he opened a transmission door and left. Qin Feiyang. Yin Yuanming didn't say anything. He was very confused. Why was it that such an outstanding young man had been unknown before? Qin Die said, "Manager, if there's nothing else, I'll go out first." "Wait." Yin Yuanming stopped her and said with a smile, "You've made a great contribution this time. Stay with me and help me take care of the affairs of Treasure Pavilion in the East City." "What?" Qin Die's body trembled. Wasn't this surprise a little too fast? Was she dreaming? "Give the order immediately. From today on, no one from the Wang family and the Zheng family is allowed to enter Treasure Pavilion, and no staff or guards are allowed to have private transactions with the Wang family and the Zheng family. If anyone violates this, they'll be kicked out of Treasure Pavilion and never be hired again." Yin Yuanming said coldly. This, Qin Die's red lips opened slightly and her face was full of disbelief. This was banning the Wang family and the Zheng family. What kind of agreement did Qin Feiyang and Manager Yin reach? Yin Yuanming frowned and said unhappily, "What are you waiting for? Go now." "Yes." Qin Die answered respectfully and turned to leave quickly. Qin Feiyang, what kind of person are you?" Chapter 323. Central City District, Housemaster's Mansion. Qin Feiyang appeared in a courtyard out of thin air. The Wolf King was lying on his shoulder, its pair of black eyes scanning the surroundings. "Little girl, come out and welcome me." Suddenly, it let out a loud roar. Ren Wushuang, who was cultivating in the attic, suddenly frowned. Who had the guts to call her a little girl? When she walked out angrily and saw a man and a wolf, her anger was immediately replaced by joy. Ren Wushuang looked at the palm-sized Wolf King and said in surprise, "You can talk?" "Of course. Brother has already taken the barrier-breaking pill and the transformation pill. How is it? Do you feel that brother has become more handsome?" Wolf King chuckled, jumped up, and landed on Ren Wushuang's shoulder. "Bah, so shameless." Ren Wushuang spat, but after this wolf cub became smaller, it was indeed lovable. "I didn't expect that so many things would happen as soon as you entered the temple. Do you need me to step in and help you mediate?" Ren Wushuang looked at Qin Feiyang and asked. "There's no need." Qin Feiyang shook his head and sneered, "Besides, I don't want to mediate. Since they want to use force, then I'll accompany them to play." "You really aren't afraid of trouble at all." Ren Wushuang rolled her eyes at him and laughed. "But it's good to teach them a lesson." Qin Feiyang chuckled and said, "While we're at it, we can also teach Lu Xingchen a lesson." "That's right. That idiot should take a piss and look at himself. He actually dares to touch my little girl Ren." "Little girl Ren, don't be afraid. Brother will protect you in the future." Wolf King patted Ren Wushuang's head with its claws and vowed. Ren Wushuang's blue veins bulged. He angrily said, "When did I become your family's?" Also, don't hit my head, or I'll chop it off. Wolf King resentfully retracted his claws and asked, You there? Where are Old Eagle and Blood Eagle? Why haven't I seen them in the past few times? Ren Wuxiang rolled his eyes and said, When I came back, Old Eagle took Shuang to the deep mountains outside the city, saying that he wanted to train Shuang properly. Would it be so kind? I think it must be looking for an opportunity to kill the Blood Eagle, Wolf King said disdainfully. Qin Feiyang nodded. That might be possible. After all, Old Eagle didn't like the Blood Eagles from the start. What are you two talking about? They are getting along very well now. Don't try to drive a wedge between them. Ren Wuxiang glared fiercely at the man and the wolf. These two bastards really had bad intentions. Qin Feiyang smiled embarrassedly and said, Let's get down to business. Sister, have you opened the door of potential? No. Ren Wuxiang shook his head. Qin Feiyang took out 3 potential pills and smiled. Here. Ren Wuxiang's eyes lit up, and he didn't stand on ceremony and kept them. Qin Feiyang said, Sister, there's something I want you to help me with. I knew you wouldn't be so kind. Ren Wuxiang rolled his eyes and said, Speak. What is it? Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed and said, Help me sweep the medicinal herbs in the various cities of the spiritual state. Sweep. Ren Wuxiang was shocked and asked, What medicinal herbs? Qin Feiyang said, Let's go to the house first. I'll make a few lists for you. Then follow me. Ren Wuxiang led the man and wolf into the attic and came to a study. Qin Feiyang walked to the desk and quickly made 3 lists of medicinal herbs. They were the potential pill, and the Juku yellow dragon pill. After Ren Wuxiang looked through them one by one, he said suspiciously, I know this list. It's the potential pill, but why can't I understand the medicinal herbs on the other 2 lists? You'll know in the future. I guarantee you'll be shocked. Qin Feiyang smiled mysteriously. Brat, you're still keeping me in suspense in front of me. Are you looking for a beating? Ren Wuxiang pretended to be angry. Qin Feiyang chuckled and took out a Qiankuan bag. There are more than 20 billion gold coins here. I believe it's enough to sweep the medicinal herbs in all the cities. Originally, these gold coins were all managed by Lu Hong. But now, Lu Hong was focused on cultivating, and he didn't want to disturb Lu Hong, so he temporarily managed it. More than 20 billion. Ren Wuxiang was shocked. She knew that this cheap brother of hers was rich, but she didn't expect him to be this rich. In the entire spiritual state, other than Lu Xingqian, no other young person could take out more than 20 billion at once. The most shocking thing was that he actually used so much gold coins to buy medicinal herbs. Wasn't he afraid of losing money? Qin Feiyang saw the doubt in Ren Wuxiang's heart and smiled confidently. I definitely won't lose money. Maybe I can earn back my capital with just 1 pill. Bullshit. Ren Wuxiang rolled her eyes. She had never heard of any medicinal pill that could be worth more than 20 billion. Whether it's bullshit or not, you'll know when the time comes. Oh right, when you go buy medicinal herbs, you better change your appearance first. After all, your status is too high and will attract the attention of the treasure pavilion. I'll let the white-eyed wolf go with you. If there's anything you don't understand, you can ask it, but you can't let the white-eyed wolf be exposed in front of others. If the gold coins aren't enough, you can pay for it first, and I'll pay you back double in the future. Qin Feiyang smiled. Okay, I'll just make a trip. Who told me to have a troublesome brother like you? Ren Wuxiang sighed. Then I'll wait for your good news. Qin Feiyang chuckled, opened a portal, and directly returned to alchemy room number 2. He entered the castle and began to copy the battle formula. Brat, you really know how to order people around. Ren Wuxiang cursed in her heart, lowered her head, and suspiciously looked at the list of potential pill and Juku yellow dragon pill, and asked, Wolf Cub, do you know what medicinal herbs these are? I don't know. Wolf King shook his head. You really don't know? Ren Wuxiang had a look of disbelief. Wolf King said helplessly, I really don't know. Little Qinzi didn't tell me. Ren Wuxiang put away the 3 lists and said, Okay, find a place to hide. We'll leave immediately. Where should I hide? Wolf King glanced at Ren Wuxiang's towering chest, secretly laughed, and directly burrowed into Ren Wuxiang's chest. It smells so good. It's so soft. It's so smooth. It's simply too erotic. I'm going to have a nosebleed. Okay, Okay, okay. I'll treat this as my home from now on. Lu Xingqian, you idiot. You've chased her for so long, but you haven't even touched her hand. Look at me. How long has it been? And I've already conquered her and occupied this precious place. I have to admit, I'm really handsome. It was intoxicated and enjoying it, and it even rubbed hard, feeling very proud. However, just as it was indulging in fantasy, Ren Wuxuang suddenly grabbed its tail, twisted it out, and said angrily, "What are you doing?" Wolf King's heart skipped a beat, and he said innocently, "Didn't you ask me to hide?" Ren Wuxuang said angrily, "But you can't hide here." Wolf King's eyes flashed with a sly look, and he said unhappily, "What's the matter? I'm not a human. I'm just a wolf. I won't do anything to you. You're not only an alpha wolf, you're also a pervert. You want to take advantage of me. You're still too inexperienced. Hide in my sleeve. If you dare to do anything, I'll castrate you on the spot." Ren Wuxuang smiled coldly, his eyes full of disdain. Sigh. Extreme joy begets sorrow. It wasn't easy to get this precious place, and it's gone just like that. Wolf King unwillingly burrowed into the sleeve, wailing in his heart, "Little rascal." Ren Wuxuang rolled his eyes, took out a transformation pill, changed his appearance slightly, and went to the treasure pavilion in the 4 major districts. "Little girl Ren, you have to go to another city." "I know, you don't need to remind me. Can you let me go to another place? It's too stuffy here, and it's too bumpy. My heart is about to shake out." "No. Let's discuss it." "There's no discussion. I'm so pure. How can I take advantage of you? You're thinking too much. Get lost." At the same time, the disciples of the Wang family and the Zheng family who were trading in the treasure pavilion or bidding for treasures in the auction house were forcibly expelled. The matter of the treasure pavilion banning the 2 families also spread like a plague in the East City. Breaking news, breaking news. The Wang family and the Zheng family were banned by the treasure pavilion. What? There's actually such a thing? What's the reason? It's related to Qin Feiyang, and there's even gossip that this is Qin Feiyang's idea. What an incredible young man. People were talking about it. When Wang Jin and Zheng Wu received the news, they immediately rushed to the treasure pavilion to argue with Yin Yuanming. However, they were stopped by Qin Die. "Why is the treasure pavilion doing this? How did we offend you?" The 2 of them roared at Qin Die in exasperation. Qin Die said, "Please calm down. It's an order from above. We're just following orders." Wang Jin said angrily, "I want to see Yin Yuanming." "I'm sorry, Steward Yin said he won't see any of you. If you have any dissatisfaction, you can go directly to the Chief Pavilion Lord." "But I don't mind telling you the truth. The Chief Pavilion Lord agreed to ban your families. Please go back, or I'll have to ask someone to escort you out." Qin Die said coldly. Wang Jin said, "No need. We can leave on our own. But I want to ask, is this Qin Feiyang's idea?" Qin Die said, "Yes, he's the one who wants to ban you." Wang Jin and Zheng Wu left. They couldn't figure out how Qin Feiyang could be so capable. In the Wang family's meeting hall, at this moment, all of the clan elders were gathered here. "Patriarch, being banned by the treasure pavilion is no small matter. If this goes on, it will affect the future of our family. Although we have some savings in the treasury, we have a lot of people. In a few months, those savings will be used up, and it will be the end of our Wang family. Patriarch, we can understand that you want to protect your son, but he has committed such a grave mistake. Even the sacred temple won't let him go. You can't implicate our entire family just because of him. Yes, you have to personally bring Wang Fei to the sacred temple today and beg for Qin Feiyang's forgiveness. Otherwise, we'll remove you from your position as patriarch." The elders all said angrily. Wang Jin sat on the main seat and glanced at the group of angry elders with a gloomy face. At the same time, the same thing was happening in the Zheng family's meeting hall. Chapter 324. The 2 families were in chaos. Wang Jin and Zheng Wu were also forced into a corner by a group of elders. But at this moment, the Lu family came. They said that if the 2 families needed cultivation resources in the future, they could buy them from the Lu family. The price was the same as the Zhenbao Pavilion. With the help of the Lu family, the elders of the Wang and Zheng families were appeased. However, the big shots of the Zhenbao Pavilion were furious. The reason for that was because the Lu family's actions were simply trying to steal their business. But for some reason, the Zhenbao Pavilion didn't say anything. A day and a night passed. The next morning, Qin Feiyang finally finished the last bit of the second stroke. His cultivation base also soared to the 3-star Battle King. In his Qi Si, the purple gold dragon aura, flaming battle aura, and red sword aura became denser, emitting a bright light. I've been delayed in the ocean of despair for a few months. I have to work harder now. Qin Feiyang let out a long sigh and glanced at Lu Hong. He didn't disturb her and directly left the castle. Then, he rushed into the alchemy room and refined the 20 red fire-colored glaze pills. Dong! Before he could catch his breath, there was a hurried knock on the door. "You're on time," Qin Feiyang muttered, took out a jade box, and put 10 red fire-colored glass pills in it. Then, he walked to the door and opened it. But it wasn't Yin Yuanming. It was Huang San. Huang San immediately said, "Senior brother Qin, something bad happened?" Qin Feiyang frowned and said, "Come in and talk." After Huang San came in, Qin Feiyang closed the stone door and entered the resting room one after the other. Huang San said, "Senior brother Qin, according to what I heard, the Wang and Zheng families were in chaos, but at this time, the Lu family helped them." "It's the Lu family again." Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed with a cold light. Huang San frowned. "There's one more thing that puzzles me. The Lu family is undoubtedly trying to steal business from Zhenbao Pavilion by doing this, but why hasn't Zhenbao Pavilion done anything yet?" Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. He sat on the chair and pondered. Suddenly, a trace of understanding appeared in his eyes. "They're waiting for me." "Waiting for you?" Huang San was suspicious. "If Zhenbao Pavilion starts to suppress the Lu family now, they won't be able to get any benefits from me. So, Zhenbao Pavilion is waiting for me to show my bargaining chip," Qin Feiyang said. Huang San looked like he didn't quite understand. "If you can't figure it out, then don't think about it. Try not to meddle in my affairs. It won't do you any good. I also happen to have something to give you." Qin Feiyang took out an image crystal and threw it to Huang San. "Is this for me?" Huang San held it in his hands and looked at him in surprise. Qin Feiyang nodded. "If you have any news in the future, don't come to me face to face. Just send me a message through the image crystal." "Thank you, Senior Brother Qin. I promise that I'll serve you wholeheartedly in the future." Huang San was overjoyed. This was a real gold mine. What Lu Ziyuan, what Xiao Hong, what Dong Cheng, compared to this person, they were nothing but dog farts. Qin Feiyang smiled. "All right, you can leave now."
Yes.
Huang San replied respectfully. He turned and walked out of the lounge happily. As soon as he opened the stone door, 2 figures entered his sight. It was Steward Yin and Elder D. Huang San hurriedly put away the image crystal and cupped his hands. "Greetings, Steward Yin and Elder D. You're finally here," Qin Feiyang muttered. He got up and walked to the door and bowed to the two. Elder D asked, "Qin Feiyang, Steward Yin said he wanted to talk to you. Is it true?" "Yes." Qin Feiyang nodded. "All right, you guys talk." With a smile, Elder D turned around and left. Huang San followed him. Qin Feiyang took out a jade box and handed it to Yin Yuanming. "Check it first. If you find it missing, I won't admit it." Yin Yuanming opened the jade box and looked at the 10 red fire-colored glass pills lying quietly inside. His old eyes lit up. Qin Feiyang smiled. "Yes, right? Then please go back." "Yes?" Yin Yuanming was stunned. Was he going to drive him away? He hurriedly put away the jade box and asked, "Didn't you want to ban the Lu family? Why didn't you do anything?" "Finally, I can't help but start probing." Qin Feiyang smiled and shook his head. "I don't plan to do that now." "You don't plan to do that?" Yin Yuanming was stunned. "I have to remind you that the Lu family is helping the Wang and Zheng families now. It's impossible for them to hand over Wang Fei and Zheng Chuan. If the precious treasure pavilion isn't anxious, why should I be? Am I right?" Qin Feiyang shook his head and smiled. Yin Yuanming's face darkened. He said angrily, "You brat! How dare you scheme against the precious treasure pavilion? Do you have any conscience? Since when did I scheme against you? Qin Feiyong felt a little wronged. Didn't you already know that the Lu family would help the Wang and Jing families? If that's the case, the precious treasure pavilion will ban the Lu family before you say anything. You brat, you're really good at scheming. Yin Yuanming was filled with righteous indignation. His face was extremely ugly. Qin Feiyong was stunned. He smiled bitterly. Do you really think that I'm good at scheming? Yin Yuanming shook his head. I don't believe it. I just feel that we've been tricked by you. I really didn't expect it. Qin Feiyong looked helpless. However, it's really unwise for the Lu family to get involved now. Yin Yuanming nodded. Indeed, not only will this anger the precious treasure pavilion, but it will also deepen the conflict between the two of you. Qin Feiyong said, I don't care. The conflict has already been formed. Then when do you plan to take action? Let me tell you. The chief pavilion master said that the precious treasure pavilion can't ban the Lu family unilaterally. Yin Yuanming said, banning the Lu family meant offending Lu Xingchen. If they didn't tie Qin Feiyong to the same rope, where would the precious treasure pavilion find supreme grade pills in the future? Qin Feiyong smiled. Let's wait a little longer. I guarantee that the Lu family will regret it when the time comes. Okay, just because of what you said, the precious treasure pavilion will fight with you until the end. No, cooperate until the end. Yin Yuanming was a little incoherent. It was obvious how excited he was at the moment. If it was someone else, he wouldn't have believed it. How could a little battle king be able to shake a super family like the Lu family, let alone make the Lu family regret it? But he had absolute confidence in the young man in front of him. Qin Feiyong thought for a while and smiled. If you believe me, these 10 red fire-colored glass pills can be auctioned later. Okay, then I'll let the Lu family be arrogant for a while. Then I'll leave first. Contact me if you need anything. Yin Yuanming smiled and turned into a ray of light and left quickly. Lu family, you're digging your own grave. Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed coldly. He turned around and went into the alchemy room. He closed the stone door and continued to make battle chi pills. In fact, he was very grateful to the Lu family. If the Lu family didn't compete with the precious treasure pavilion, even if the precious treasure pavilion cooperated with him, it would only be a relationship of mutual benefit. This kind of relationship was not reliable. Once the Lu family gave the precious treasure pavilion enough benefits, the precious treasure pavilion would definitely betray them. But now, the precious treasure pavilion wanted to suppress the Lu family more than anyone else. After making a few thousand battle chi pills, Qin Feiyong went back to the castle and continued to copy the battle formula. A battle chi pill with 2 veins contained a lot of energy. This also saved him a lot of herbs. Time was like the sand in one's fingers. Half a month went by. Qin Feiyong had already copied half of the 3rd stroke of the battle formula, but today, he had to stop, because Wolf King and Ren Wushuang had returned. Closing the iron book, Qin Feiyong opened the portal and went to Ren Wushuang's courtyard. A man and a wolf were sitting in a pavilion and chatting. Qin Feiyong strode over and smiled. How was it? How much did you get? Ha. The spiritual state is indeed a place full of outstanding people and rich in resources. We got more than 200 sets of herbs for the potential pill. Wolf King said proudly. So many. Qin Feiyong was also shocked. He expected to get 50 or 60 sets, which was already amazing. But he didn't expect to get more than 200 sets. We have separated the herbs for the 3 types of pills. You can take them and organize them yourself. As for the gold coins, we spent about 10 billion. The rest is in the Qinkuan bag. Ren Wushuang took out 4 Qinkuan bags and threw them on the stone table. Only 10 billion? Qin Feiyong was stunned, but on second thought, it made sense. After all, the precious treasure pavilion didn't know that these herbs could be used to refine the potential pill, and Juku yellow dragon pill. They also didn't know the magical effects of these 3 pills. If they knew, the price would definitely skyrocket. Huff. He took a deep breath, sat on the stone bench, grabbed a Qinkuan bag, and carefully organized it. After a full 6 hours, he finally completely organized the herbs for the 3 types of pills. He had gathered 230 sets of potential pills. Potential pill, 52 sets. Juku Yellow Dragon Pill, 61 sets. If all of them were to be auctioned, it would be more than 10 billion. It would definitely be dozens, or even hundreds of times more. Moreover, there were still many herbs left that couldn't be gathered. After all, some of the herbs were very ordinary and easy to find. Some of the herbs were very rare and difficult to find. There were naturally a lot of ordinary medicinal herbs, but there were naturally very few rare ones. But at this moment, an old figure suddenly descended in the sky above the courtyard. It was the Academy Master. Qin Feiyong hurriedly put away all the herbs. Swish! The Academy Master's figure flashed and instantly landed in the pavilion, smiling. You guys are here too. Greetings, Academy Master. Qin Feiyong hurriedly got up and bowed. Don't be so formal. The Academy Master waved his hand and asked curiously, What are you hiding? Why are you sneaking around? Nothing. Qin Feiyong scratched his head, feeling a little guilty. If the Academy Master knew that he had asked Ren Wushuang to sweep the herbs, he would definitely beat him up on the spot. Is there really nothing? The Academy Master asked, becoming more and more curious. Ren Wushuang said angrily, Grandpa, what are you doing? Even if Feiyong is hiding something, does it have anything to do with you? You're so nosy. The Academy Master was stunned, glancing back and forth between Ren Wushuang and Qin Feiyong, and sighed deeply. A grown girl can't be kept at home. Chapter 325. You're still scolding me? The mansion master's face immediately darkened, and he said, Pack up. I'll send you to the inner hall immediately. Ren Wushuang shook his head. I'm not going that damn place. What's so good about it? You're already so old. You can't possibly stay by an old man's side forever, right? Today you have to go. That's why I'm here. The mansion master said with a straight face. Humph. Ren Wushuang snorted coldly, turned his head away, pouted, and started to sulk. A deep sense of powerlessness rose in the mansion master's heart. Suddenly, his eyes lit up as he looked at Qin Feiyong, giving Qin Feiyong a look. Qin Feiyong looked a little embarrassed and said silently, That's not good, right? The mansion master immediately glared at him with a threatening expression. Qin Feiyong felt bitter in his heart. This was a matter between you grandfather and grandson. Why did you drag him into it? Sigh. He sighed and laughed. Sis, the mansion master is right. You can't stay by his side forever. You should go. Pausing for a moment, Qin Feiyong continued. If you really hate that Lu Xingqian, just give him a slap. He definitely won't harass you again. Ren Wushuang couldn't help but laugh. What kind of rotten idea was this? To think that he could think of it. However, his vexed mood was a lot better now. She looked at the mansion master and nodded. All right, I'll go. But you're alone at home. You have to take good care of yourself. The mansion master looked at Qin Feiyong gratefully, then looked at Ren Wushuang and smiled. Although grandfather is old, his bones are still very strong. Don't worry. Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed slightly and laughed. Sis, wait for me. Finished. Without waiting for Ren Wushuang to react, he directly opened the teleportation gate and returned to the second alchemy room. A few hundred breaths passed. He refined 2 potential pills, 19 Chu Yellow Dragon Pill, and stored it in a jade box. Immediately after, without stopping, he opened the teleportation door and appeared in the pavilion. He handed the jade box to Ren Wushuang and said, This is for you. What is it? Ren Wushuang opened the jade box, and rays of dazzling light immediately bloomed. Why are there 2 pill veins? Ren Wushuang was bewildered. 2? The manor head was taken aback for a moment before he hurried over as well. If he didn't look, he wouldn't have known. But when he did, he was shocked. It was actually a top-grade pill with 2 pill veins. Furthermore, even he had never seen these 3 medicinal pills before. 2 of them were completely blood red, as if they were condensed from blood, emitting a strange fragrance. They were the potential pills. The other one was yellow in color. At first glance, it looked like a ball of mud, but its surface was round and flawless. This 9 tunes yellow dragon pill can increase one's cultivation. You can take it at any time. These 2 potential pills can open the 4th and 5th level of the Gate of Potential. You will need to break through to the 9-star Combat Emperor before you can consume them. Qin Feiyang explained in a low voice. There's actually such a pill? Ren Wushuang's eyes revealed a strange light. The palace lord's old eyes were also staring angrily, filled with disbelief. Qin Feiyang whispered, Sis, don't leak out these 2 medicinal pills. He added, in addition, the 3 potential pills that I gave you can only be consumed when you reach the 9-star Combat Emperor. Yes. Ren Wushuang nodded, put away the jade box and smiled. Feiyang, thank you. Qin Feiyang said, we are all family. There is no need to be so polite. Moreover, the person who should be thanking you should be me. You mean those medicinal herbs? Ren Wushuang was bewildered. Qin Feiyang nodded. Ren Wushuang couldn't help but smile. It turned out that Qin Feiyang had asked her to help clear out these 2 medicinal herbs. This cheap brother was truly treacherous. If the people from the treasure pavilion were to find out, they would probably vomit blood from anger. What are the 2 of you talking about? The palace lord looked at the 2 of them suspiciously. Nothing. The 2 of them shook their heads at the same time. There must be something wrong. The palace lord muttered secretly, but he didn't ask any more questions. He smiled and said, Shuang, quickly go and clean up. Yes. Ren Wushuang nodded, turned around and walked towards the pavilion. The palace lord asked in a low voice, Qin Feiyang, where did you get these pill recipes? This, white-eyed wolf, we should also go. Senior, farewell. Qin Feiyang opened a portal and ran in without looking back. Old man, see you later. Wolf King waved his claws and slipped into the portal. The palace lord was stunned. 2 little brats. After coming back to his senses, he couldn't help but curse, but there was a hint of a smile in his old eyes as he whispered, Interesting little guys. On the street in front of the treasure pavilion, Qin Feiyang and Wolf King appeared out of thin air. Look, it's Qin Feiyang and that ruffian wolf. They're here again. What do they want to do in the East City this time? It's too extravagant to use the portal every time. Now, the man and wolf were considered celebrities in the East City. As soon as they appeared, they attracted a lot of attention. Extravagant? Hearing the discussion, Qin Feiyang's face couldn't help but twitch. The 10 portals he bought last time hadn't been used much, and now there were only 4 left. Everyone only saw the bright side, but they didn't know how helpless he was in his heart. If it weren't for the distance between the Sacred Palace and the East City, he would really be reluctant to use the portal. Greetings, young Master Qin. The 2 guards at the door saw Qin Feiyang coming and hurriedly cupped their hands and bowed. Cough, cough. The Wolf King coughed dryly, looking displeased. The 2 guards looked at each other, feeling helpless. They cupped their hands and said, Greetings, Lord Wolf. Please come in. Humph. Wolf King snorted and walked into the treasure pavilion with his head held high. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, It's just so naughty. Please don't take it to heart. It's fine, it's fine. The 2 waved their hands. Now, this man and wolf were Manager Yin's favorites. Would they dare to argue with them? Qin Feiyang shook his head and smiled, then entered the treasure pavilion. Qin Die came up and smiled. You're here? Qin Feiyang looked at Qin Die and found that she wasn't wearing her work uniform. He smiled and said, Misty, you seem a little different today. Qin Die said, I'm staying with Manager Yin to help him with the treasure pavilion. Qin Feiyang was stunned and smiled. So you've been promoted. Congratulations. It's all thanks to you. Qin Die looked grateful. She asked, Are you here to see Manager Yin? Qin Feiyang nodded. Qin Die said, Go up by yourself? The VIP room on the 3rd floor. Okay, let's talk another day. Qin Feiyang smiled, then grabbed Wolf King and walked up to the 3rd floor. Wolf King said unhappily, Why did you drag me along when you're going to talk business? What do you think? Qin Feiyang glared at it. If he let it run around the treasure pavilion by itself, who knew what kind of trouble it would cause? The VIP room. As soon as Qin Feiyang walked in, Ying Yuanming stood up to welcome him. Brother Qin, I've been waiting for you for so long. Finally, you're here. Come, Come, come. This way, please. In Yuanming greeted Qin Feiyang warmly. They sat opposite each other at the coffee table. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly and asked, "Did the Liu family do anything in the past half a month? I'm angry at the mention of them. Did you know? 2 days ago, Steward Liu came to the treasure pavilion to buy a large batch of herbs." In Yuanming said angrily, "Did you sell them to him?" Qin Feiyang frowned. In Yuanming said helplessly, "You didn't give me a definite answer. How can I not sell them?" "Okay, let's forget about it. I'm here to ban the Liu family." Qin Feiyang took out a jade box and placed it on the coffee table. In Yuanming's eyes lit up. He grabbed the jade box and opened it. There were 2 blood-red elixirs inside. There was a glaring elixir pattern on them. Why is there only one elixir pattern? In Yuanming was very excited. However, when he saw that there was only one elixir pattern, he immediately frowned. Qin Feiyang smiled. For this kind of elixir, even if there is only one elixir pattern, it's still priceless. In Yuanming was surprised. Qin Feiyang said, "I've never auctioned this kind of elixir before." Before he could finish, In Yuanming frowned and said, "How do you know it's priceless if you haven't auctioned it before? Are you playing with me?" Qin Feiyang was stunned. Then, he shook his head and laughed. "Let me show you something." Qin Feiyang pulled open his clothes. A red door-shaped imprint instantly entered In Yuanming's sight. "This is..." In Yuanming frowned. He felt like he knew what this door-shaped imprint was, but he couldn't recall it at the moment. "Potential imprint," Qin Feiyang reminded. "That's right. It's the potential imprint." In Yuanming suddenly stood up and stared at the door-shaped imprint. His eyes were filled with disbelief. This lad had actually opened the door of potential. No. He first took out the elixir and then showed the potential imprint. Could it be that these 2 elixirs? In Yuanming lowered his head and stared at the 2 potential elixirs in the jade box. His eyes shone with a dazzling light. Qin Feiyang tidied his clothes and smiled. "This is the potential elixir that you've always wanted to know about. There's actually an elixir that can open the door of potential in this world." In Yuanming felt like he was dreaming. It was too unreal. He had been in the spiritual state for so many years and had seen everything. However, this was the first time he had heard of something so unbelievable. "Are you sure?" He swallowed his saliva and looked up at Qin Feiyang. He was extremely nervous. If this potential elixir could really open the door of potential, it would be more than priceless. It would be a priceless treasure. "I'm sure. Lu Hong, White-Eyed Wolf, and I have all opened the 3rd level of the door of potential." Qin Feiyang nodded and said with a smile. Manager Yin was like a bolt from the blue. He sat down on the chair and waved his hand. "Let this old man calm down first." It was too shocking. For a moment, he couldn't digest it. Qin Feiyang wasn't in a hurry. While drinking tea, he asked Wolf King about his experience in the past half a month through telepathy. A moment later, Manager Yin suddenly stood up, grabbed the jade box, and left in a hurry. Soon, an explosive piece of news spread like wildfire through the entire city at an astonishing speed. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.